Hey guys, it's me, Kelly. I am back to bring you TruthSeekah again. I'm so excited to have him on the show. This time, I have some really cool stuff. I think I'm close enough that you can't see what I'm trying to show you. I have some really cool stuff to show you that TruthSeekah sent me. And he has these things available to you guys. You're going to love this stuff. I can't wait to show it to you. Anyway, so without further ado, here is TruthSeekah.
What's up, fam? How y'all doing? Glad to be back. Some more
Oh,
conscious conversation.
yes, we're glad to have you back. Yeah, this is real talk here.
Yeah.
It's like the title implies, the naked truth. It gets Kelly in trouble sometimes. Sometimes Kelly's channel gets shut down for telling too much truth. So, TruthSeekah, I'm sure you have the same thing happen to you. You open your mouth, you tell the truth, and you have problems.
Yeah, some people don't like my truth, you know. So that's just the whole thing. I think we're going to talk about too, dealing with a lot of stuff about different people's opinions of the truth and stuff like that. And I think just dealing with truth in general, man. Sometimes it's like you feel like you have it figured out, and then you go a little bit further, and you're like, man, I have nothing figured out. I don't know anything. So I think we're all just experiencers, man. Just kind of you know what I'm saying, sharing our opinion of our experiences. That's the only thing I know to be truth is like my opinion of my experience. So thanks for having me back on the show.
Oh, we're so happy to have you back. In the meanwhile, there's been a question, and because you're a guy, right? Don't you hate it when
Yes.
people start questions out like that? You're a guy, right? It's like, could you not
Well, you don't know
tell?
these days, though, right?
Yeah.
Can't tell.
So, I just over the years I've been asked why I don't wear a wedding ring,
Hmm.
and I just didn't really know why. It was one of those things that kind of evolved. I didn't do it overnight, and it's something that just happened. Part of the reason, because I thought, okay, I'm going to start wearing it again. So I put it on, and the whole time I was so worried that I was going to lose it, that someone was going to rob me, that I was conscious all the time of, am I going to put it down, like take it off to wash my hands in the bathroom, forget it? Is it going to fall off my finger, not know it, you know? So that was just going through my head like the whole time. Sorry about the leaf blower. That's,
I can't even really hear
thank God. Thank Raw. Just kidding. Anyway, we're going to be talking about aliens later. This is going to be exciting. Over the holidays, they have a really large selection of fake rings. So I've got this one, like for a wedding ring. It's like, if I'm going to get something fake, I'm going to get something big, like my
Yeah.
real wedding ring. So I've got this one, and then I also got this one over the holidays. These are like $20, you know, and they look fantastic. I actually like it a whole lot better because it's lighter, because gold is freaking heavy. It's just, I didn't
Yeah.
realize how heavy it was until I put it on again. Because I just don't wear jewelry. I mean, I let my holes grow up in my ears and everything. But after I started wearing a wedding ring again, I found out why I stopped wearing a wedding ring. Because I took a short nap right before this interview, and I had a nightmare and woke up with the nightmare that there was a guy that it's someone I kind of knew casually, but then he saw me. I won't get into the rest of the dreams. They're crazy. I don't even start to explain the dream where I was and what we were doing. It was a cool dream till this happened. So, you know, he's like, oh, hey, Kelly, and then kind of put his arm around my waist like this. So I put my arm around his, okay, he's over, you know what I mean. Anyway, we had our arms around each other's waist like I call it a sideways church hug. I did like a
Yeah. Christian.
hug. The Christian hug. I did the sideways church hug, and then he just didn't let go, and he kept his arm around me. And you know, I'm trying to be cool, like, okay, this is cool. Is this a Hollywood thing? 'Cause you go to Hollywood, everybody kisses everybody, and they don't mean it the way you think they mean it. It's like Vernon Wells, like, mwah, this huge slobbery smack on my mouth. Vernon Wells in front of his wife.
Hmm.
So it was like, oh, this is just how it's done in Hollywood. That wasn't my dream. It was kind of like, I'm interested in you, Kelly. And I was like, oh dear, how do I handle this? I'm not sure what to do. And then his arm started to kind of slip down toward my rear end area, you know, and it's like, okay, so I try to get my arm out in the way that his arm is. I can't easily get my arm out, and he won't move his arm. And then it became too obvious, And then I woke up like, I can't believe this is happening.
Hmm.
So I didn't realize that, like, when I would wear my wedding ring to the grocery store, I would get hit on all the time when I
Hmm.
wore my wedding ring. And I guess it was a subconscious thing. I just stopped wearing it because, I mean, it's flattering to get hit on. Who doesn't want to be hit on? but, but then it was like, it was all the time, and it was interfering with my life. I felt so. I think I just kind of subconsciously stopped wearing my wedding ring. I start wearing it. Guess what happens again? I start getting hit on. It doesn't matter if I have no makeup on or nothing. I get hit on. So your guy,
Hmm.
why do? And I'm not saying you do this, but you talk
Yeah.
to guys. Guys
Hmm.
talk. You've been in a locker room before. Why do guys hit on married or single guys? Why do they hit on women that have wedding rings on, and then leave women that don't have a wedding ring on pretty much alone?
Hmm. I can't really tell you. You asking my opinion, but because I don't do it. Like if I did it, I could give you the breakdown of why I do it and why I hit on married women, but I don't. So, the fact of the matter is that I have girls come up to me, right? And my wife says they're hitting on me, and I don't know that they are. Like I don't catch anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get any vibes that they're flirting with me or anything like that. And my wife would be like, that chick's all in your face. She's got her boobs in your face and whatever the case is, and being all flirty and laughing and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't catch that at all. And so she says that, what I'm saying, that girls try to get the married guy because it's like a challenge. So maybe the same thing. Maybe like, what I'm saying, it's that primordial like challenge, like, what I'm saying? Because it's like a lot of people dealing with authority and power and stuff like that, manipulation, like they are attracted to the things that they can't have. So I mean, that's why they kind of, what I'm saying, do that. So I would think it's the same way, like guys wanting to, uh, if you tell them they can't have something, they want to get it. The classic Adam and Eve deal with the fruit in the garden. You can't have it, so you told me I can have it. Now my, what I'm saying, infatuation just got crazy. What do you mean I can't have it? Yes, I can. I'm gonna show you I can get it. So I think it's something, what I'm saying, like that going on. But um,
That makes sense, almost like prohibition. Like only a certain number of people drink alcohol, but then you said, no, it's illegal. Then
mm,
everybody drinks alcohol.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're not
for
supposed
real.
to do it. Now, my husband told me that um, a guy that wants to hit on a woman that's married, he basically wants to have his fun. We still have to keep this family.
Okay.
Yeah, have his fun,
Hmm.
but not be worried about a commitment at
Commitment,
the
yeah.
end.
Commitment issues, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think they make apps for that.
oh, do they?
Yeah, there's apps for that. But yeah, I think that's part of it too. You know what I'm saying? That could be some of the, part of it. But then, you know, it's crazy. I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been married. I actually got married at a very young age. I got married at 17. Married my
Wow.
Yeah, I actually married my high school sweetheart, and been faithful and committed and happy. And I found my other half. And the sad thing about it is, like, a lot of people don't get to do that. I have friends and family members who, man, they just go through person after person trying to find their soulmate and try to find this person to fill that void. You know what I'm saying, they don't want to be alone, and some people never experience that. So um, it's a sad thing because I think everybody deserves to be happy. You know what I'm saying? So um, I take that very seriously. I play about a lot of things. I play about a lot of things. Like I'm open. I'm funny. I tell jokes, blase blase. But when it comes to my like wife and daughter, that's where you don't cross the line. Like I've had very close friends, who like very close friends, like spending hours with guys like stargazing and, what I'm saying, metaphysics and studying and things like that, and they say something out the way to my wife, and they didn't think it was a big thing, and I'm like, nah, you crossed the line. They apologize, blah blah blah, and they still want to be friends, and you know what I'm saying, but you can't take it back. It's like you can't
Yeah.
never cross that line. So that's like one thing I don't play about. Like, you know what I'm saying, you cross the line and there's no turning back. You can forgive, but you can't forget. you can never take it back. That's why like words are so powerful, and you need to watch what you say, because you know what I'm saying, I can forgive you, but I'll never forget that you feel that type of way and that you said that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'd also want to remind everybody we are going to be talking about spiritual stuff and aliens. So go ahead and get your questions ready. I have the question and answer app on. Just click on it in the bottom left corner of the screen, and you can start writing questions, and we will see what we can do to answer those questions. I've got a question about witches, I guess. It's not really about witches, but let me see if I can find that. I have videos, and it's funny because this will kind of go in phases. There will be just everybody's like, oh, Kelly, thank you so much. This is so wonderful. And then you'll have some days where you will have 10 people go in there, you're a witch. You worship Satan. You're going to hell. And I'll have 10 people in one day. It's like, what did, a Sunday school class share my video or something?
Yeah, I mean, did. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I'll read you real quick. This last one, it cracked me up so much. I had to post it on my Facebook, and I can't tell you how many people commented on this. Wait, 31 more comments. Oh, okay. So we've got several on this. This was my introduction. Well, the cat's out of the bag. You caught me. I was in the closet about being a witch. That really hurt my feelings when he said I didn't have a broom. I just bought the newest model dust-free one. He says they're laughing at me in the fourth dimension. I guess he doesn't know I can see them. He might see them laughing, but it's from his own comments, Kelly. So this guy, I deleted it, so I don't want to say his name or anything like that. It was marked as spam. The spam filter guy.
That's a big thing right there. So that lets you know that you're not the only channel that they're going through posting these comments on. That's a big thing. Like if he really had a quarrel with you, that's one thing. It's legit. But you have quarrels with everybody. Hold on. But go ahead.
Yeah. It's marked as spam. So this cracks me up. This Kelly witch woman is just another witch with no flying broom, being played with by fallen angels named demons. They laugh at her in the fourth dimension. This just proves Yahshua, a.k.a. Jesus, so much more. Because, sorry about the grammatical errors. I wish people who had a beef with me had good grammar, because they just tend to not put punctuation and grammar in this stuff. It's so funny that I find a common thread to all these people. Yeah. Because when they completely overtake you, Kelly witch, and all the witches, his name alone can deliver you from their attacks and make demons flee. Don't listen to this Kelly witch, and go and read what Yahshua said and follow his words. He will take your spirit to heaven when you die. I guess he didn't know I already died. But as for I have so many friends that are witches. They're the ones that were laughing so hard at this guy, because witches are nice. Like, he has no clue what a witch really is. But as for the witches, like this one, maybe, she will go meet Satan, her high priest, in Fire's Gate to hell, where she has been training herself to go and teaching others to go with her. Be warned and follow Yahshua and his God and his creator. Wait, Yahshua and his God? Okay, he doesn't even know the Bible. Okay, and his God and his creator by what, because they're all one and the same, theoretically, okay, by what he actually said, and do not follow what the perverted gospel of the Christians, the perverted gospel of the Christians and perverted gospel of the Messianics. They are all like this witch with all their godly witchcraft. Okay, can you help me interpret it? Why can't they call me a newt? Kelly, you're a newt. She's like, I got over it. Or a sprite or a leprechaun. Call me something creative. But a witch and my high priest is Satan.
Yes.
So take it over.
No, it's like there's so many. I did a video. I didn't post it though, but it's kind of something I was talking about. It's dealing with a lot of Christians, church people, and there's a difference between being spiritual and being superstitious. And you'll find that a lot of these Christians are superstitious. And there's a lot of revelation in that because superstitious people are afraid of everything. There's a black cat, they're afraid of it. There's a ladder. Do not go under that ladder because you're going to be cursed. So they're superstitious. They're finding darkness. They're finding demons. They're finding, they're scaring people. They're pushing this fear-based doctrine of fear because they're superstitious. They're not spiritual. They can't deal with information. They can't deal with spirituality for what it is. They see a pentagram. That's devil worship, and that a pentagram summons the devil. No, it doesn't. You have no idea. So they don't study, and then they, take information and they run with it. So it's crazy, but like a lot of Christians, a lot of church people are like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to deal with them, and you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was the whole thing of when you seen the comment, it said that it was already marked as spam. That shows a bunch because like I'm saying, I get those comments every now and then, so I go back and check them to see if this dude really has a quarrel with me, and it really has a question, like an honest question. Maybe I can build with them.
Yeah, I go back to their profile, and most of the time they have said a similar thing to everybody else.
Yeah, it shows you all the comments and stuff, so you can look and see what type of interaction they're having with people. It's like, okay, you come on my video making fun of me, but you're making fun of all these other videos too. Okay, so I won't even respond to them. I'll delete the comment and I'll ban them because I know that like ticks them off more by actually banning them, like because you silence their voice. They're trying to piggyback off of your platform. Like they don't have 40,000 subscribers on YouTube or whatever. They got 3, so they're trying to piggyback off your platform or whatever. So deleting them and banning them, I think, really hits them to the core because it, it silences their voice, and that's what they're trying to do. So, but the thing about it is, it's so crazy. It's like dealing with spirituality and religious people. It's like at this point, it's like I have a fear of it in a sense now. Like I'm scared of it because people get on these crazy like tangents or whatever. So like I'm saying, that person thinks that he's doing the work of God. Like God smiled on him when he left that comment. He did the work of Jesus Christ. He's furthering the gospel by sharing that comment on your page, and for like a person to do that, and to feel like God like backs them up and God, smiled upon them to do that is very scary. And it's not just Christians. We talk about how there's crazy Christians, there's crazy New Agers, there's crazy Islamic people or whatever the case is. That's crazy because people are crazy. People, they just get so far out there with their belief system, and they're the only ones that's right. So anytime you're talking to somebody and they're the only ones that's right, and they have the way, and that nobody else has a way, and them and their church people, like you gotta run from them people for real, man. You can't really deal with them. You can't talk to them. You can't show them evidence. They're in a state of cognitive dissonance, to where even though you show them information and you prove to them and you tell them out of your mouth, look, I'm not a witch. I believe in most of the same things you believe in. No, you're not. You're lying. I'm like, I'm sitting here telling you and you're not listening. You have a state of cognitive dissonance where I can tell you and show you proof and explain to you, and you still don't believe it because your belief system has created this prison around your mind, so that everything that you hear gets filtered through this jaded belief system that you already have. And you're dealing with a lot of religious people like that.
Why is it always a witch? Like, why don't they call us something else besides a witch? A witch is very specific. There are so many groups, but some reason it's like you're a witch. I mean, why do they choose that?
It's just like a blatant word or whatever. It's like basically they're just generalizing because you're a witch. You know what I'm saying? They say you're a witch or whatever, and that means to them so many things. Well, they haven't studied. They can't. Like those who have studied a little bit more, they can break it down. Well, she's not a witch. She's actually a Wiccan. Or she's not a Wiccan. She's a pagan. She's a pagan. She's not a witch. So they're like break it down or whatever. But it's just, you know what I'm saying, just using like a general statements or whatever, because they don't know, they haven't done their study or whatever, so they can't break it down. So
it's basically a sign of ignorance. It's kind of.
It is a sign of ignorance. It is, definitely.
Okay, that's kind of what I was interpreting from you. I wanted to make sure. I've got a question. What are you talking about? So, what we were talking about, or we're going to be talking about, that we want you guys to either, okay, this was an experience that I had, or this is a question that I have. And I'm sorry about the lighting. It is so dark outside. I can't get the lighting to do very well today. We're going to be talking about aliens and alien encounters and things like that in a little bit. So if you have any questions or you just want to tell this happened to me, then just go ahead and put that stuff out there. I guess next we're going to talk about surviving the holidays. I know that you have a really tough time during the holidays, as do I. Everybody else has followed my story of after I told everybody I died and what happened, and then the rejection. And then we didn't go for Christmas for like 3 years. And this year looks like it might be the first Christmas that we go to my family's, and this is year number 4, basically after I died. So so far my family is trying to be very accommodating, and there's always a gift exchange, and it's like I don't budget that way. It's not that we don't have the money. That's not what I mean. But we budget for things and events and all that, and we don't budget for Christmas for spending money we don't have. And because we don't have credit cards, so we are not going to go sell gold and silver and things like that to go buy people presents and probably buy them something they don't even want, that they might even regift, or it just sits there and it's a complete waste of money. So it's kind of my thinking is like, why are we giving gifts? First of all, it's not even Jesus' birthday. He was born like in the summer or something. And why are we giving each other gifts? And then when you start to look at the holiday, and the reason that this holiday of giving came into play was because corporate America, the retail stores, wanted to sell more stuff. And that's really the reason that we're doing it, because in the Bible, I don't think this story is even true. I know they have just adulterated the Jesus story of when Jesus was born, like the wise men brought gifts and all that, and it was like, oh, they brought gifts, so you just need to give gifts this time of year.
Yeah, that's what they say.
But yeah, it's been a rough 3 Christmases dealing with my family's belief system. They're Christian, Baptist specifically. Each one has their little things. Baptists, we're good. They're good with casseroles. So, what has been your experience? Yeah, what's been your experience with the holidays and what you've had to deal with?
Mine has been crazy, and it's been a journey or whatever. Being like a strict Christian and searching for truth and searching for answers and things like that. My daughter just turned 10, so on her first year of her birth, we celebrated Christmas, and then searching and studying, I did all this studying about pagan religions and Sumerian text and the the pagan trinities, and there's trinities in every religion and blah blah blah, and I just did crazy studying on it, and I got to the roots of it, and seeing where the Christmas tree comes from and December 25th and all this type of stuff. And so since I was so vigilant, like we basically started doing Hanukkah and quit doing Christmas. And so I was like really against Christmas, against the Christmas tree, because it had nothing to do with Jesus and all this kind of stuff. And I would do concerts and stuff, and they would ask me for like cards and CDs afterwards, and I would hand out pamphlets about why you shouldn't do Christmas and stuff, because it's like satanic and all this kind of stuff, right? So I went through that for like a long time. So that's so the last 2 years is the first year, basically the second year that my daughter was able to experience Christmas with us, because I'm just doing studying and then just going through my own awakening to find out, the truth behind it and stuff like that. And then as far as the fact goes, is that it's like it really don't even matter. It doesn't matter that you don't believe in it, because if there's anything, I really do enjoy the spirit of it. I enjoy the anticipation of that morning. I enjoy the lights outside. I enjoy the weather. I enjoy that people have that same spirit as well, the spirit of giving, and like just walking in the spirit of Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So you can't deny that, that spirit's there. And but just seeing that, man, I like put my family through, like, you know what I'm saying, hell in a sense, you know what I'm saying, telling them that they can't do Christmas, and like even like Thanksgiving. Like I used to fast on Thanksgiving, like I'm not going to eat anything because we're celebrating the time that Christopher Columbus came and slaughtered my people, and so I'm going to fast. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying, do that. And
Yeah, my people as well. Hello.
yeah,
I mean,
so like
are you Cherokee? Like what are you
Creek
exactly?
Indian, yeah.
Creek Indian. Yeah, I've got
I don't know if you
Cherokee.
see, that's our symbol, Porch Creek Indians. Yeah, Porch Creek
Nice.
Indian. And but yeah, like it
This is
was
my symbol.
crazy.
My nose.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, how's that guy Indian? He has a beard. Indians don't grow beards, but yeah. But yeah, I put my family through hell, man. And then so like my friends or whatever, my religious friends, I told them like how I've been like liberated from that doctrine and from that understanding, and it's part of it's going around pointing out like the superstitious, like everything is evil. Up, Christmas is evil, and I could show you all these reasons why I don't want to do it, and because I believe it's evil. Versus now, I'm going around showing you why I do it, why it is good, and like I'm saying, pointing the good out in people, because it takes a special eye to go around and see, you know what I'm saying, the positivity in things that you know what I'm saying, others, you know what I'm saying, deem as evil or whatever the case is. So I got my Christmas tree up in the background.
Looking
So
awesome.
yeah, so it is what it is, man. I don't, you know what I'm saying, like it's crazy. It's just, and that's the whole thing with me just studying religion, not just studying, but going through it. Like like you know what I'm saying, the crazy mindsets that I'm talking about, that you interpret the world through that mindset. I mean, it was like it wouldn't go in people's houses and stuff like that, and people were scared to have us over because they thought we would condemn them or judge them because they had a tree up and stuff, and it was just crazy. And I thank God that I've been liberated from that mindset and stuff. So, but like I said, as I told some of my Christian friends or whatever that I started doing Christmas again, they look at me like I'm backsliding, or he's giving into it. So, you know what I'm saying, those who are into the deep understandings or whatever, and who think it's pagan or whatever, but I found liberation in doing it again, you know? It's crazy.
And I mean, you're the Bible expert. I'm not. Correct me if I'm wrong. But wasn't one of the purposes for Jesus to come here uh, was to free people from the hard, fast rules?
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like it's not about the rules and
Hmm.
about you have to do it just like this. It's
Yeah.
about having a relationship with God.
Hmm. Yeah, he basically took away like all of the, you know what I'm saying, sacrifices and all of the um, uh, traditions and rituals that block the average person from speaking to God. And he basically tore down that veil and made an open spectacle of them and their religious system. And they, you know what I'm saying, those were the ones who didn't accept him. Like he started out dealing with the people in the synagogues and in the churches or whatever, um, dealing with those people, and you know what I'm saying, they didn't want to hear him. So he just went out to the world and to the lost sheep and those who, you know what I'm saying, needed to hear his message and what he had to say. So that's kind of what we find out now. You can see it through like a progression of my music, how I was like doing gospel music and then feeling uneasy in churches and wanting change in church and wanting them to get back to certain things and pointing out false doctrine in churches and stuff like that. So I was in the midst of that trying to change it or whatever, and they really like you're actually like messing with their bread and butter. You're going into their homes, unplugging their refrigerators, and you know what I'm saying, taking away from their livelihood when you do that. So I you know what I'm saying, they just want to do what they want to do. So I just like quit focusing on just the religious sect or whatever, and just like deal with people whoever they are. You know what I'm saying, become all things to all people. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying, just showing that same love that Christ showed. And I think that's what it's about. It's not about all this pointing fingers and judging and stuff like that. And as far as that goes, like that's easy to do. It really is. I've got signs where we used to like street preach and stuff and point out the flaws in the religious systems and stuff like that. And it's there's definitely not peace there. There's a lot of like confusion and like different it's not good, man. You're not free if you're doing that. I can guarantee that. It's pointing out the evil and everything. But like I said, the crazy thing is like they feel like they're doing something for God. When I quit doing Christmas, when I got all that out of my house, I felt like God smiled upon me. Like my son, you know what I'm saying, he's doing the right thing. He's getting
Uh-huh.
Christmas out of his life, or whatever the case is. And
Well,
so that's
following your heart.
yeah, that's the
And you having a real relationship with the
yeah,
creator of this universe
yeah,
without having to put up a tree, without
yeah.
having my family's like, what, you didn't even put up a tree? And
Yeah, it
it's
was the same
like,
way, yeah.
yeah, even when I was a Christian, I hated putting up the tree. I loved how pretty it was when it was done. It was a lot of work, and it wasn't fun. I don't know if it happened in your family, but putting up the Christmas tree in my family was an
Yeah.
ordeal. And it's like,
I,
no, this is row H, not row G. And
mhm.
we had artificial Christmas trees. So.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like it doesn't matter if you do it or if you don't do it. Like it is what it is. Like, and you got to respect that. You know, people like have different understandings. People have studied different information, and they believe a certain type of way for a certain reason because it is how it was shown to them or expressed to them or the way they came up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a fun thing. It was a religious thing, and it represents, you know what I'm saying, some you know what I'm saying, bad, you know what I'm saying, childhood memories or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So.
For me, it was work because
Yeah.
I already took my wedding ring off. I couldn't handle
Mhm.
it. I don't even like to put jewelry on, much less make my bed or put the
Mhm.
toilet paper on the little thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't do that. So
Mhm.
Christmas trees are kind of along the same lines for
Yeah.
me. Hey,
Yeah.
we got a good question over here from someone who's viewing. What belief that I guess when they say ancestors, they're talking about the Native American Indians, is my guess. What belief system do your ancestors have? What do they think about the Bible? That's a good one.
All right. As far as like you know what I'm saying, the Native American Indians, when you really get down to breaking it down, there's a lot of information about the Native American people being descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. The Native American people being of the tribe of Gad, which is spoken of in the Bible, and so there's a lot of information about a lot of archaeology where they find pottery and things like that that have ancient Hebrew written on them, like they found it in America. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really it's a really rude thing. It's a scary thing for people to look at the natives as savages. I think that these people were closer to God and closer to spirituality than Western Christianity would ever be. And like that's my heartbeat is to return back to that, to return back, you know what I'm saying, to the knowledge of the ancients, to return back to the Great Spirit or whatever, because I see them keeping the commandments of Christ more than, you know what I'm saying, the majority of Christians here who are, you know what I'm saying, just living like savages themselves or whatever by their actions and what they're doing.
Absolutely, because I'm seeing that, like, and I'm going to do an apology video on bashing on Christians. I'm going to apologize to you guys because I have been a little bit unfair in some areas, truthful in others, but unfair in others because I was beaten up by the Christian church.
Yeah.
But yeah, you made the point that here's a Bible, which is a kind of like a set of rules and a set of way of living your life. And the Indians didn't really need that because they had such a connection not only with this planet but the creator of the universe, and I don't feel like they really needed that in this savagery.
Hmm.
And I'm well, Christians go and kill their wives and their husbands and all
Yeah.
that as
That's
well,
crazy.
and Christians join the army and go kill people in other lands.
Yeah.
So they're harping on the Indians. From what I've learned about the Indians, a lot of that was pure propaganda.
It was. That was the thing. Like it's. I mean, they have a lot of knowledge that they already knew about the teachings of Christ as well when they came over here. You know what I'm saying? So, like these people by nature, and that's what the scripture talks about. I think I brought it out on the first podcast we did, was the fact that in in the Bible in Romans it says that if you do by nature the things that are written of in the scriptures that are written of in the law, if you do them, they become a law. Um, it's a basically like a standard or a law that God will hold you to. Like you have never read the Bible, but you're naturally doing the things in there. You're, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, you love God, you love
Universal
people, you love,
truths.
yeah, that's what it's about. It's about universal law. You know what I'm saying? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and to like really embrace that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the scriptures were about anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what the law was about, the Ten Commandments or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying, telling you not to steal because you know what I'm saying, deep down, like, you wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, want anybody to steal from you. So yeah, don't steal. But we're talking about a people in a time to where like they didn't comprehend that. Like, they had to have it written out in a law. Oh, he said don't kill, so I'm not going to kill. But now it talks about like in the New Testament or whatever, wherever we are now, it says that God actually writes His law and His commandments on our hearts. So we naturally, as a kid, we go into a store and we steal something, put it in our pockets. Like, we know we have to be sneaky. We know we're doing something wrong. That was the law. Thou shalt not steal. So this is written on our hearts. We don't have to read a tablet and say, okay, it said don't steal. Am I going to do it? No, this is something that's naturally embedded into our DNA. But back then they had to have the laws. They had to have commandments because they were just learning. They didn't know anything. These were like a very primitive people. And but now it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Christ came in you know what I'm saying, basically you know what I'm saying, showed you how to live it out. Like, he was all that. He was the law and the commandments all basically all rolled up into like a person. He was the Word, which is the Scriptures. He was the Word made flesh. That's what He was. He said that out of all the commandments, all the prophets, all of that stuff in there, all of the good stuff and all of the bullshit that's in there too, all of it hangs on to love the Lord your God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. If you can do those two things, you fulfilled the whole Bible. You fulfilled this, you know what I'm saying, the reason that Jesus came and all of that. Those two commandments, all of it rides on that. And so it's so funny how we like try to complicate it. And I'm at the point now to what it should be like the simplicity of, why are we arguing about what Jesus said? Oh, He said it like this. He said this. Well, the Bible, the Scriptures show this, and like really confusing people and getting confused yourself in a book that it really is full of confusion itself. Like, people don't even know how to interpret it. They're interpreting it with a westernized mindset. They have no idea what the hell is the Bible's talking about. So they're doing all this and breaking it down and going to colleges to figure out what the hell Jesus said. When quit arguing about what He said and just do it. He said, you know what I'm saying? He said, love your neighbor as yourself. Turn the other cheek. Walk in love. Walk in compassion. Show love to those who don't deserve it. Show compassion to those who don't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what He did. And like, why do we have to base religions and theology and bullshit off of all this stuff versus going out and doing, like, people are having deep Bible studies and discussion, and it's filling this philosophical, you know what I'm saying, theological hunger within them, and it makes them feel good, and makes them feel prideful and like they know more than the next person. Like, I know more than Kelly, so I'm accepted by God because I know the Bible and I've studied it and I've done the diligence or whatever. When simply He just says, love me and love your neighbors as yourself. And people obviously want to, well, loving God means this and this and this, and so there's all this stuff that people attach with it, and just take it, instead of taking it in the essence of just loving people. It's not hard, man. Like, it really isn't, to just do what He did. You know what I'm saying? Love the unlovable. You know what I'm saying? Walk with them. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. That's what it's about, and it's really messed up that people can't even grasp that. You know.
Mm-hmm. And we've got a question over here, and I'm going to ask his channel name is Sour Mohammed. And he just asked the question, why? And I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, asking that. So if you could ask another question and specifically ask, why, what, then we'll see if we can answer your question. While you were talking, it was reminding me of what a compliment it was to be called a witch. I mean, that is a compliment, because, and I'm not saying that witches and Indians are the same. They are absolutely not. But their philosophies are so similar. They are so respectful to this planet. And I might be off on the number, but I'm pretty sure that anytime it's just the number. I mean, I'm sure about what they're doing, but I can't remember how many generations they're talking about. Dealing with the land. It's kind of like, if you want to take a modern day situation here, we've got a tree in the backyard, and my husband wants to cut it down. He wants to cut it down just so that he can drive a vehicle through the gate and park it into the backyard, because we collect ancient antique vehicles. We have several. I think we have about 11 by now. But these are all muscle cars and stuff like that. But their attitude is, before you cut that tree down, how is this going to impact the next 7 generations after you?
Mm-hmm.
And that's on the level of how witches are, from what I understand about witches.
Mm-hmm.
In the Native American Indians, is the respect for the land. So I'll tell you this, Christians have participated in a system that is destroying this planet.
Mm-hmm.
But they feel like they are so superior to Indians.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. It's and like I was just saying, like just returning to the ancient path is what the Bible says, to return to the path of the ancients, and the understanding and the simplicity that they had, where they understood that they were connected with all creation, that they were a part of that tree, that they are a part of their brothers and sisters, and what I'm saying, even their enemies or whatever the case is, like they were a part of those people. And the way they viewed the land versus the way that we, what I'm saying, view the land now, like they were trying to get them to sign treaties and stuff like that about the Indians would sign the land over to the white man, or like us, what I'm saying, sanction the certain parts over to the white man, and they wanted them to sign paper, like giving them his, what I'm saying, giving them permission. It's like, we don't own this land. This is God. We're just here. Like, we don't own it. So how are we trying to, what I'm saying, divide this up and basically give it to you when we don't own it? And what I'm saying, you don't own it either. So this was the understanding that they had, which is to me, like a very beautiful understanding of life in general. You know what I'm saying? Just respect for all life
and sharing. What I've learned about the Native American Indians, from way back when, it's basically what is mine is yours. And they have this sharing mentality. It's that, okay, this is the teepee that I stay in, but if you need somewhere to stay, my teepee is your teepee. And that is not what we do in modern day society. We have boundaries around our properties. You step 1 foot onto that property, I can shoot you. It's like that didn't happen with the Indians. I think there's a lot of conflict that has been resulted from us drawing boundaries and saying you can't come here for whatever reason.
Yeah, there's a story, and this is where the term Indian given comes from. The term Indian given, where it's like I give you something, and then I take it back. Like, you know what, I didn't want to give that to you, it's mine, take it back. So it's a term Indian given. And where that comes from, basically, there's the story of a guy who went and spent some time among some Aboriginal people, and he had a bag full of trinkets and like bracelets and necklaces and things like that, and they were in a tent meeting, and he was going to open it up, and he was going to give, give one to each person, like a gift or whatever, a token of appreciation. So he goes to pull it out, and they snatch the bag from him. They take it, and they start going through it by themselves and putting it on and taking what they wanted or whatever. He was offended. And so then they actually...
I've never heard this story before. This is interesting.
And then they actually gave him a boat. They actually made him a canoe, and he took it out, and he took it out on the water, and he had fun with them or whatever. They went out canoeing, and he had it sitting back at his campsite for a couple weeks, and he wasn't using it. And he woke up in the middle of the night, and they were sneaking back, and they took the boat, the canoe, in the middle of the night, and they took it from him. And he was like, wow, why did they make this for me? Now they're taking it back. The classic scenario of Indian giving. And come to find out, that he didn't know their philosophy is that what's mine is yours and what yours is mine. That if you're not using it, we know somebody who wants to use it. We want to go out on the water. We're going to take it and go out or whatever. So they viewed everything like that, as a form of what's mine is yours, yours is mine. So that if you're not using it, what use does it have for you? Like, how does it benefit you? So they didn't look at anybody who had these different possessions or whatever. Like, they had no possessions. And it's very funny too, like if you really look in early Christendom and how the book of Acts operated, they actually did the same thing too. They sold all their possessions and brought all their money together and basically had a commune or whatever. And so, they operated under the same functions or whatever. And so, but if we start doing that now, we're a cult, We're like, you're going to be targeted and stuff like that. You see that with a lot of these places that sprung up and have been demonized, David Koresh and all this kind of stuff, where they're infiltrated and stuff like that. So they want you to be a part of the system and play the game,
And buy more stuff.
Consume.
Consume. Absolutely correct. Why at the holidays do you think there are so many people that get depressed?
Well, I mean, it is a time of like families coming together and compassion and things like that, and you know what I'm saying. Kudos to you trying to reconcile you know what I'm saying, the differences in your family. Because if you didn't, it could be a perfect time for you to become depressed. You say, "Oh, my family judges me. They don't like me. They don't respect my you know what I'm saying, ideals, and they don't, you know what I'm saying, respect me that I don't do it." So there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of people who have lost loved ones around this time, and they're not able to spend time with them. So I know a lot of people who have, you know what I'm saying, dealing with those same situations. So it's not a time of, you know what I'm saying, time to rejoice and time of like family and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So, you know, that's why I try to make the best of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to get depressed and stuff. Because I was like that. I used to hate these times, and we would like tell people like, "Yeah, you guys, you know what I'm saying, we need to brace ourselves. We're, you know what I'm saying, the holidays are coming up, and we're gonna stand firm and not, you know what I'm saying, not partake in Christmas dinner, and we're not gonna give gifts." And so, and that's totally not the way to be, you know.
Oh, exactly, exactly. We have a little bit of clarification and 4 questions actually. It's kind of the same question, so I'll just pick one. Sorry for the rest of you that asked the same question.
Mm.
Now this person appears to be from another country, so I'll just kind of paraphrase what they're asking. Is Christmas and Santa real for you? The other questions are basically, do you think Santa is real? Do you believe in Santa? And is Christmas real? I'm not 100% at knowing what they're asking, but I understand the Santa question. But when they
Yeah,
say is
it's
Christmas
real.
real, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by that.
Yeah, Santa Claus, he is real. He comes in the house of little children at night, and he brings gifts, and he's real. And if you pray to him, and he knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good. So he's got a list, and he checks it twice. And so be good all year round if you want good gifts.
Oh crap! I
You know,
better put my wedding ring back on. I want some gifts.
yeah, yeah.
I love
I
it.
don't want to tell you that he's not real. I don't know what you believe. You know what I'm saying? He might be real to you. Like if you believe in him, like he might be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how myth works, and that's how belief system works. Like, if you believe in it, it's real. It's, you know what I'm saying, supposedly based off of a real person. You know what I'm saying? Saint Nicholas or whatever, who brought gifts
Hmm.
and things like that. And obviously, there's a lot of debate about what happens and what still happens. And the hell, I don't know. I've never seen him, but he could be though. I mean, I think I ain't gonna lie. When I was a kid, riding in the back seat, it was snow, and I looked up at the moon, and I thought I seen, you know what I'm saying, Santa Claus going across the moon, like ET or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought I seen that as a kid. I was like, damn, I seen him. But
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
probably a little cloud or something. Yeah, we did stuff with Samantha because we did the Santa thing with Samantha,
yeah.
and then when she's 11 or something like that. I can't remember. I think it's been 2 Christmases, so she's probably about 11 or 12. I broke the news to her about. Oh, spoiler alert! If you have children, turn this video off right now.
Cause Santa Claus is watching.
Because Santa Claus is watching. Okay, now that you've paused the video, we can talk about this. Oh my gosh, it almost came out of my mouth. So
Yeah.
we told Samantha about Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Why did you lie to me?"
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
so upset about everything. So,
Yeah. My wife said she did the same thing when her mom, when they told her that it wasn't real. She couldn't believe anything else they said. So that's what's weird about like teaching like your children myth or whatever, or teaching them about Jesus or whatever. So it's like, okay, the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, they wasn't real, but the stories we told you about Jesus were. Like he's real, but those
yeah,
guys are fake.
and do they really trust you?
Yeah, and they're like, you're just making this up as you go along. Like I don't, you lied about these guys, and now you like
Mm-hmm.
you saying lying about Jesus or whatever. So that's a big reason why like the Christians wouldn't do Christmas or whatever, because they're like, we don't want to, you know, say that Santa Claus is real, and when they find out that he's not, they may think we're lying about Jesus too. So that comes into the, you know what I'm saying, the psyche of that understanding as well. But it's whatever. I think it is beautiful to hold on to myth as long as you can. Like, you know what I'm saying, to hold on to that innocence that the world loves to take from you. You know what I'm saying, whether you believe in spirituality or God or Jesus or the Easter Bunny or whatever, just to hold on to that because it's beautiful. That childlike faith, what Jesus even talks about, you know what I'm saying? Just like believing that it's real, because you start, you know what I'm saying, the world has a way of callousing you deity and from you know what I'm saying, belief in these type of things or whatever. But because there's a lot of stuff that's real, and you know what I'm saying, who are we to say that it's not real? Because there's stuff that I've seen that people probably think I'm crazy to say it exists and it's real, like stuff that I've seen come through other dimensions and aliens and UFOs and angels and demons and stuff, and like that stuff's real. So who's to say like everything isn't real? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. So
I think if you believe it, it makes it real to you, though, and that's the power of any type of myth or allegory or Jesus or whatever. Like if you don't believe in Jesus, like to you, he's not real. Like if you don't believe in Santa Claus, to you, he's not real. But if you believe he's real, you're gonna like fashion your life in a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying, with that belief system. So.
And to manifest it to happen. For those of you that are watching, we are just about to get into the alien portion. You're going to love this stuff of it. But before then, speaking of the holidays, gift giving, TruthSeekah sent me some stuff. I thought he was just sending me a T-shirt, is what I thought. So I wanted to kind of show off. So those of you guys that if you don't give gifts to anybody else, you need to give this gift to yourself for the holidays. I'm going to show you the first thing, and then I need some explanation on some of this. Some of the symbols I don't understand, some I do. But anyway, here's the T-shirt. Sorry, it's a little distorted. Kelli has a ballooning effect under here. So here's the T-shirt with the symbolism. Oops, wait, hold on. Let me pull this up a little bit. There we go, because my earbuds just won't go up any farther. Okay, that's like crossed swords, isn't it? Okay,
yeah.
There we go. So yeah, that's the T-shirt. That is friggin' awesome. And I got the T-shirt. Not only did you get the T-shirt, holy crap! I've got some. I can put this anywhere. This is like sticky. Like, where is it? Wait. There's a backing on it, right?
It's a sticker. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a sticker. Okay, because I didn't want to touch it. I never want to stick these things on anything. I always save them. I never stick them on anything. And so these are awesome pictures, by the way. They did good. They did real good. And here's the other one I got. Now, is this one of your albums? Let's see.
Yeah, it is an album. Yeah.
Yes, I thought I recognized it. The Lost Children of Babylon presents TruthSeekah, Spiritual Alchemy. I love those. These are awesome, but I'm not going to stick them on anything. Then you sent me a CD. Good grief. Check this out. Got a CD. And this is it. And then there was more. And then it was like, what else is in here? Good grief. Poster. Got a poster. This is freaking awesome, this poster. I mean, you've got a lot of cool stuff. From the first time that we met to now, oh my gosh, it is night and day. I think you're really progressing forward in your career, and it is so exciting. So then we've also got a pendant. So, and we've got some symbols going on. Let's see, on the bottom, the Lost Children of Babylon is written on the bottom. And we've got some symbols here. So, you guys, first of all, where can they find this?
They can go to the website to get, you know what I'm saying, any of that, truthseekah.com, truth, SEEKAH.com, and all that's available. The poster and all that's going to be with the pre-order that's coming out. We got like shirts and with the new CD that we're trying to finish up at this point, 333.
So for the pre-order, this is what's going on for your pre-order.
That's going to go with the pre-order, and there's going to be other stuff too. We got like an exclusive shirt that I just got in, and I want to go get the shirt and show you because I haven't showed anyone.
Seriously, it can't get better than this shirt. I don't think anything you have is better than this shirt. It
is a cool shirt, and I like give you some of the symbolism breakdown on that. At the top you have.
Okay, here we go. At the top we got LC and then a symbol that looks Arabic.
Well, it's the LCOB is the label that I'm affiliated with. It's a spiritual movement of people doing conscious, esoteric, spiritual hip hop. So I'm affiliated with these guys, and I release my music under their fan base and label and things like that. So I'm just affiliated with them. So that's the LCOB movement. It's kind of like an esoteric rite. So that's the LCOB with the swords crossed in the back. The top symbol is the Om symbol. which is like the symbol for meditation.
This one right here. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Because
the
I'm looking at it backwards. That's why I didn't recognize it. Now I see what you're talking about. It is. So these Google things, they do weird things. Everything gets backwards.
Yeah. So that's the Om symbol, just really symbolizing the sound of the sun, symbolizing meditation and spirituality. And then the symbol under that, which is the all-seeing eye.
You got that right here.
That
right
symbol. That symbol represents the fact that I'm in the Illuminati, that I've been, and I am in blood covenant with the Satanic High Order of the Illuminati.
Of course. So am I. That's why I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah. So that's why we wear the all-seeing eye. No.
I thought I recognized you at that ceremony.
Yeah. So basically,
it was you with the hood.
Yeah, I've got one, but not. Basically, what it is like just taking back the true meaning of these symbols or whatever. Like these symbols, like have no, you know what I'm saying? Like one meaning, but those symbols in their conception. It says in Psalm chapter 33 in the Bible, it says that the eye of the Lord shall watch over you, and this is where like the early Christian mystics used the symbol of the all-seeing eye with the illumination, the triangle representing the Trinity. All ancient cultures used the symbol of the all-seeing eye. So, but now people see it, they think like satanic masons or something like that, or like the eye of Ra. So just understand that all ancient cultures used the eye as a symbol to represent the sun or the all-seeing, all-knowing, omnipotent, omnipresent eye of God that watches you at all times or whatever. So I went to the Cherokee Nation. We went to their museums and stuff, and they showed their ancient symbols, and it was the all-seeing eye. Like they had that symbol all over everything, and it's the eye in the hand that they use as well, which represents the hand. You know what I'm saying, represents man, and the eye represents God. So it's like God and man dwelling together. So that's what the all-seeing eye represents. It's just like God consciousness that He's watching over us. And then you have at the bottom you have the Merkaba.
Okay, hold on, guys. Stand up again. Okay, at the bottom, am I? Oh, it's pulling on my ears. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Let's move this up a little. Okay, there. Can you see it? Can you see it? Okay now.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the Merkaba symbol, which is
this one right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Which, if you was to draw it out, it would look like the Star of David, supposedly as above, so below. You know what I'm saying?
And those of us who mispronounce it call Merkaba.
Merkaba.
I'm calling from Texas, so it's a Merkaba.
It's a Merkaba. But yeah, like it's crazy because like in like ancient Hebrew or whatever, the word chariot is the word for whenever you break down the word chariot, it breaks down in the Hebrew word Merkaba.
I believe that. Because when I put that sucker around me, I can go anywhere. I feel no weight. It is amazing.
It's the word for chariot. When you break down the Hebrew word chariot, you get the word Merkaba, which translates to vehicle. It's a vehicle of light, and that's what the ancients believed, that you can do different meditation practices and align your chakras and have your chakras vibrating and moving, and that you can travel at the speed of light, and you can travel the heavens. And a lot of people, when they do astral projection, astral travel, they believe that certain yogis can turn their body into this vehicle of light and travel when it's spinning. When you have the all-seeing, when you have the Star of David spinning, the six-pointed star, if it was 3D, it would look like it actually look like the Merkaba. So they believe that you can do that, and even in the scriptures where like they were like doing bilocation, to where like they were traveling like hundreds of miles, like within the next chapters of the scriptures you would read, like they would travel hundreds of miles like in an instant. And it's believed that Jesus knew how to do this, and you know what I'm saying, some of the others who would take these different trips to heaven, like they would be caught up in heaven and they would like go to heaven or whatever in their body, and they would take their body with them or take their consciousness, either or. So that's what that symbol represents. And then you have in the back, you have the flower of life.
Hold on. We're getting there. Okay, the flower. It's the big thing. There we go. Now I see it. Wow, I'm glad you're breaking this down. The symbol right there, the whole thing.
Which is basically a bunch of circles within other circles, and they're all touching, they're all connected, symbolizing the fact that the symbol was found in like early churches, and the early Hebrews used this symbol, and it's found all over the planet, that all the ancient people used this symbol, symbolizing that we're all connected, we're all part of that creative force in the earth or whatever. So that's what that means. It's just basically understanding that we all are connected, and that if you understand you're connected with your brothers and sisters, and you wouldn't want to do any harm to them, you wouldn't want to lie, you wouldn't want to cheat, you wouldn't want to steal from them, you want to bless them, because you in turn doing this to them are in fact doing it unto yourself as well. And that was the teachings of Christ anyway, you know what I'm saying? So everything is connected, and that's just, that's what the shirt represents, is spirituality, you know what I'm saying? Seek truth going across it, you know what I'm saying? And at this point, we're dealing with truth sought, you know what I'm saying? We've already been seeking it now, you know what I'm saying? So with the other shirt that's going to come out with the pre-order, I just got them in, and they're pretty sweet too. I want to show you too, so.
Okay, well, while do you want to go get it real quick, and I'll tell him about something? Yeah,
tell me for 1 second. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell him about something while you're going to do that. He was talking about the flower of life, this pattern right here, circle within a circle within in a circle. And you guys have probably seen this on YouTube. If you haven't, go look it up. They take basically a speaker, and they put some kind of canvas on top of it, or some kind of platform on top of the speaker. They pour sand on it, and as there are certain frequencies that vibrate that sand, the sand will move and create patterns. And one of the patterns that was created, I was just finishing telling them, he's back. One of the patterns that was created by this sound frequency, and I can't remember what the frequency was. If you guys know, please put it in the comments what specific frequency it was. But when they played this over the speaker, then they poured the sand on there, it formed the flower of life. So it is actually a frequency.
Yeah, that's why words are so powerful, because I'm saying not only thoughts but words carry vibrations as well. So that's why you're supposed to think about beautiful things, keep your mind upon heavenly things, and not, think about like all the negative stuff that we can think about. That's why the media shows you stuff about, Ferguson and Ebola and all this type of stuff, and they make up propaganda to basically keep you in fear, because you're going to be vibrating at a low vibration, and all of these, negativity words that you speak out, they are all dealing with the, low vibration. And so sounds and music and all this, and like good words and good thoughts carry good vibrations, so that when you're able to see it, you do the scientific research behind it, where you're able to see the vibration that it has. They make perfect, sacred geometrical patterns. So when you will see the flower of life, or you will see the, the Merkaba form by just, tuning music and just playing it, really awesome stuff that actually shows you the science behind the spirituality,
Oh, exactly. And we had someone make a comment, it's the flower of life symbol found throughout nature, which is true. Yeah. And someone else mentioned it's nature's geometry. And me being a math lover almost from birth, I had taught all the higher maths and all that. This is not math. This is not geometry. This just is. Geometry is a way of measuring and defining and describing this. Geometry is a human construct, not a creator construct. A creator created this. Geometry is just a way to explain this. So I wanted to make that really clear to everybody, that this is not geometry. The creator is not doing geometry. The creator is just being, and we have categorized it and tried to label it and define it. That's all math is. So someone put 14 hertz frequency. So that might be the frequency for the flower of life, 14 hertz. Maybe they researched it. So, oh goodness. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one. Why? And then we got to get into aliens. Why is the Illuminati viewed so negatively? I am not familiar with it, but the videos on YouTube come across so negative. But I think it's from a Christian point of view. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they do. People don't do their research or whatever. That's the fact that, like, even the early Christians were called the Illuminati. They were called the Illuminated Ones. So when we take back, because I try to view all of this in its original essence or whatever, like what it started out as or what it really means, whatever the case is. So when we're talking about symbolism and stuff like that, people see like a five-pointed star and they freak out and think it means that you're summoning the devil. Like people don't do the knowledge and they don't do the research. You have people who maybe watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos by a 15-year-old or whatever who's good with, you know what I'm saying, Photoshop and you know what I'm saying, Sony Vegas or whatever, and they got the music there that really, you know what I'm saying, dramatic music. So when you watch it, it's like, oh my God, this is all satanic stuff or whatever. But to really understand, there's a difference there. Like, I don't think these people call themselves the Illuminati. You do have these world rulers and the world bankers and like these, you know what I'm saying, reptilian type people that are, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the reptilian mindset, that, you know what I'm saying, that these people are wicked, man. These people are evil, but they don't call themselves the Illuminati. That, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying, the true meaning of the Illuminati is those who are illuminated with light. Christ talks about light. Christ even says he's the light of the world. You know what I'm saying? So in the scriptures use that word over and over, to become illumined, to become illuminated. So we understand the word in its you know what I'm saying, essence or whatever, do the esoteric breakdown on it. It's not satanic, it's not evil or whatever. But so they try to, you know what I'm saying, like basically combine the two of like this evil satanic type government with something as far as like a secret society who is holding the secrets of the earth, because if they fall into the wrong hands, you kind of get what's going on now. So that's why you just got to do your research, man. Nothing is evil in its conception and like exactly what it is or whatever, these symbols and things. So that's why, like, you kind of put your head out there on the chopping block to use these symbols or whatever, because obviously when the average person sees it who watched an Illuminati video, hey, he's one of the all-seeing eye, man, you're summoning demons or whatever. But it's not the case. You just got to do the knowledge and do the research if that's what your heart is, to really understand and to really seek. And not to seek it from, like, do the, you know what I'm saying, do the knowledge from a Christian standpoint if you want, but you can't stay there. You have to look at it from an unbiased standpoint and say, okay, what the hell is this stuff? Because, like, that's when I started, like, researching aliens. It was under like anything that I was reading was all from a Christian standpoint. And we understand when it comes to that, all Christians believe that aliens are demons or something. So I was like going for about a year researching all of this stuff about fear and propaganda and aliens are demons that want to abduct you and take you away and all this kind of stuff, to where I was like, you know what? All these other researchers started coming up and I started paying attention to what they said and just looking at the information for what it is versus like having an agenda behind it. My agenda is to get you to believe at the end of this conversation that demons are evil, and you need to understand to stay away from, I'm sorry, not demons, but aliens are evil, and you don't need to talk about them, you don't need to bring it up, blase, blase.
Mm-hmm. And when we're talking about the Illuminati, I would, if I had to categorize myself, I would say I am Illuminati. Yeah. I am an illuminated one. Yeah. But just like you were talking about the symbols are neutral. It's what you do with it, just like a fork. You can stab your little sister with the fork, or you can eat your beans. You know, you have the choice of doing that. So I could use because when you die, it's like, oh, duh, this is how the universe works. And then you have to find a vocabulary to explain that to everybody. But you know how the universe works, and you know how to manipulate the reality in this video game that we're in. Once you become illuminated, then you have choices. You can try to rule the world and control people and use it for negativity, or you can use it to bring positive things to this planet.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with the symbols and with the like the spiritual technology and music and all of this stuff is the same thing. It's all esoteric, it's all spiritual, and people are using it for bad, people are using it for good, and churches are using it for bad, and there's other churches using it for good. And the same thing goes with the term Luciferian. You know, that term, like, okay, the Illuminati is one thing, but the Luciferians are the real Lucifer worshippers or whatever the case is. Even that term, like in itself, if you look at the term Lucifer, what the term means, where it came from, I did a study on it or whatever. It's on my YouTube channel, and like Lucifer is not an entity. Lucifer is not the devil. Lucifer is not an angel of light that comes to bring knowledge and illumination. It's no such thing. That is not a biblical understanding. That's not real. They don't. But you can go through like different esoteric circles who have made this some type of entity or whatever. But it's not in its conception, especially through its biblical references, which is only used one time in Isaiah chapter 14. And when it's being used, it's speaking about the king of Babylon, who had like God's people in bondage. He had them locked up and basically as slaves. And this was a prophecy from Isaiah that he told them. He said, If you don't let God's people go, much like, you know what I'm saying, Pharaoh did, and if you don't let God's people go, you're going to fall. You're going to be destroyed. You're going to be brought down, you know what I'm saying, and so when it says you're going to be brought down as Lucifer, basically. So to understand the allegory of what Lucifer is, if you go onto like dictionary.com or pick up a Webster's dictionary, look up the word Lucifer, it's going to tell you that it is the planet Venus. You look up Venus, it's going to tell you that it's Lucifer. So this is an allegory, the bright and morning star. Anybody who is into astrology, astronomy, you know that when you go out 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, whatever, the brightest star or the brightest planet in the sky is Venus. It's the brightest one. That's going to be the first one that actually draws your attention. It's the bright and morning star. And so what he is saying, basically, that if you do not repent, you do not let God's people go, you're gonna fall. Just like when the sun rises and that planet is shining in all of its glory. When the sun rises, that planet or that star is put to shame. You cannot see the, like, you know what I'm saying, the radiance and the brilliance of that star anymore, because the sun has risen. And to understand, like, Jesus is also called the bright and morning star as well, or the day star in the book of Revelations. So they're calling Jesus Lucifer as well. But understand that it's just an analogy. It's a title. You're a light bringer, because the word means Lu-cipher. Lu meaning light, cipher meaning bearer or bringer, light bringer. What is knowledge? Or, you know what I'm saying, what is light? Light is knowledge. Light is understanding. In esoteric circles and in the biblical text, light is knowledge, and you're illuminated with the light of Christ if you're, you know what I'm saying, born again or whatever. So all this stuff goes together, and so it's just an analogy, and it tells you right there in Isaiah chapter 14 that it doesn't say this is an entity, that this is the devil. It says, is this not the man that did cause the nations to tremble? So this man, this king, will be brought down to the depths of the earth, and he's going to fall from heaven, just like the planet Venus falls whenever the sun rises, and, you know what I'm saying, to a new day. So that's exactly what it's talking about. So that's Lucifer, Illuminati, all that stuff with the biblical breakdown.
Speaking of colors, we've got another question. Or light, not colors. What's wrong with me? My husband just woke up and came in here, so he's trying to be real quiet. On leather. Good luck. This is probably a little out of the subject, but what are all the colors under our eyelids when we close our eyes? Is it energy? Because one time I saw all this color dots under my eyelids from eyes and creatures. Do you know anything about that? First, make sure that you are not having migraines or things like that, because those will, people who do have migraines, because in February I started to have migraines from stress and not sleeping right and all. So I know what this is like. You see little, it almost looks like little bitty orbs, only there's a bunch of them, and it's obvious that it is not orbs or those sparks or whatever. But one thing that I taught in one of my videos, and I don't know if you have done this, TruthSeekah, this is a really cool thing to do. You close your eyes, and either you do it or you have somebody do it. It's better when someone else does it and you're not expecting it. But them to either like slam a door, clap their hands, put something down like really hard, and you will see patterns form against your eyelids. Like your eyelid is a screen, and you will see these patterns. So what knowledge do you have about that, or have you ever done that before?
Well, when I spend time in meditation and prayer and stuff like that, eventually when I just kind of get all of the, you know what I'm saying, thoughts out of my head and all the like images that are coming up, and I just focus on not my thoughts, but I focus on like the blackness in front of my eyelids. If you're in a place that's not like I'm saying lit up real well, you'll eventually see the blackness in front of your eyelids, and you focus on that. Get all the colors, get everything out of your mind, get all the images, and focus on that. Keep your focus on that, and it takes a lot of work because your mind wanders, and you start thinking about washing the dishes, and you start thinking about, you know, what you're going to do next week or what you want to eat for dinner. But so to you know what I'm saying, to do the work and do the due diligence to actually focus on that and remain on that. And for me, a light does appear. It's not a whole bunch of lights, but usually one light will appear, and it'll fly around, and I'll try to focus on it, and I keep my focus on it, and in a sense it kind of like hypnotizes me or whatever, and puts me into that trance-like state to follow it. And then once I'm there, like different things happen, whether it's like information that comes, or I'm in tune with my higher self. And I have had like beings approach, like you know what I'm saying, what are some in the some who understand like Egyptology or whatever, or the, you know what I'm saying, the religion of Egypt will understand that it was like this I'm saying, like Melchizedek being, this being of green light. So when you see green light or a green light being, these are like these angelic beings that are dealing with the order of Melchizedek, the same order that Christ was inducted in. And so I had this entity approach me while I was in that state, and I was able to see it too. It's like you know what I'm saying, just looks like a human being, but they're made out of light. And it approached me, and I felt it scan me, and I felt like a line of energy come to the top of my head to you know what I'm saying, the bottom of my feet, and it just kept scanning me or whatever. And so I was in that state, and it was like really cool. And then like something like moved in my house or whatever, or some kind of creak, and I kind of you know what I'm saying, snapped back, you know what I'm saying, into reality or whatever the case is. And it ended that experience. But yeah, like a lot of beings are made out of light beings, you know what I'm saying, green light beings. There's a whole bunch of things. So when we talk about color, everything is vibrating, and everything is color. Color is vibration, and you know what I'm saying? So all of it's linked together. So that's what I do, and you know what I'm saying? It helps me when I'm trying to spend time in that state.
Oh man, that's fantastic. They got like a bunch of answers on that one from you and myself. That's cool. They're learning a lot today. Aliens. Speaking of aliens, my husband just walked in, and what I learned last night, it was terminology. You know that my problem is terminology. It's not like not knowing something, because it's like, yeah, I know this. How do I put this into words? I don't know how to put this into words. So they were just talking about humans and aliens. And it's funny we're going to talk about aliens, is because I saw like a 2-hour deal last night on aliens, and it really broke everything down. What do you call them? Why are they here? What are they doing? They're collectively doing something, and they're cooperating with each other. Some of them are not so happy. They're doing a little bit of fighting. Sounds like stuff that happens on this planet. But there is something that appears to be an alien being inside of my husband that is green and reptilian. He has been visited by his peeps. They have told me they are from Draco, and he is on the good side, if you will. This reptilian mindset that we're talking about, or these reptilians, we're talking about a reptilian mindset instead of necessarily reptilian-looking beings, because there are beings who do look reptilian, mm-hmm, who have a heart and a soul, and they're not just acting like a reptile. But these were called star seeds, or I don't think they're walk-ins. Walk-in, I think, might have been one of the terms, but a star seed or a star child, someone who is an alien soul in a human body. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm coming to think my husband is an alien soul in a human body. So let's start talking about aliens. And if you guys want to ask about aliens, you go right ahead, and we'll see if we can answer some of your questions about aliens.
Obviously, they're not called aliens. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we're talking about the terminology. Like, what is an alien? You have all these different, you know, things going on. Like, so that kind of goes along with the whole thing of the witch thing. Oh, Kelly is a witch. Like, we really can't explain what you are, so you're a witch. So it's the same thing with these entities and these beings. Like, people don't know what they are, so they just say alien. And so I made the mistake of using that terminology with church people. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't like it or whatever. But I can do the breakdown on it as well. But really, what we have going on, like you were saying, this type of you know, reptilian type beings, or these reptilians, and these are the beings who are controlling everything. These are like they have like meshed with the bloodline of humans, and they're basically running our planet right now. These are our rulers who want you to consume. They want your energy, they want your blood, and they want you to work. They want you to clock in, and basically you are the blood, you are the life source that keeps their empire running. And if you cease to do this, if you try to expose them, if you find you know, alternate routes of energy and things like that, they will pull your plug and they will deal with you. once you start speaking about these things. So
Yeah,
it's even
I felt that.
yeah. Well, you know firsthand, so
Yes,
we
I
probably
do.
shouldn't even. I don't even know if we should have went down this road,
That's
but
okay. That's okay. That's okay.
yeah. So if you guys see this video get pulled, you know why. So and it's even spoken of in the Bible. It talks about how the serpent seed, that the serpent will have a seed in the earth, and this serpent seed will fight against the seed of the woman. And so these serpents or whatever, whether you take this quite literal or symbolic, this serpent seed mentioned of in the scriptures has been fighting against the sons of God since the beginning, or the sons of the Elohim since the beginning. And those who are the good guys on the good team, basically the humans on the earth, are being lorded over by these evil, wicked people. And then now these people will put poisons in your food, and you know what I'm saying, sell it to you, make you buy it, and they know that it's going to kill you and it's going to hurt you, and they don't care. They put poisons in your toys that they give the children, into the vaccines and things like this, to keep you in this lulled state, to keep you in a place that you want to consume, and they get a joy out of watching videos like the Ferguson stuff like that, to keeping people in this state of mass confusion and hysteria, because you will do what they tell you to do, you will consume, you will buy, you will comply, as long as you're in that state. And I got it on my website too. This is a clip from Roddy Piper, who was in the movie They Live. And if nobody's ever seen that movie, you need to go download it like ASAP. The movie They Live, which was, I think it's from the 80s. And so it's about this guy who has these glasses or whatever. He puts these special glasses on, and he's able to see all of the leaders and the police officers and all these. They all look like these kind of crazy looking alien monster beings or whatever when he puts the glasses on. And so they find out that he knows, and then so they're trying to take him out, and he's trying to expose them. So you know what I'm saying, this guy, you know what I'm saying, Roddy Piper, just announced he was on an interview with Jesse Ventura, and said that he asked him about, you know what I'm saying, will there be a sequel to that movie? He said that wasn't a movie, that was a documentary. And he began to say how David Icke was right, and all the theories and all the information that David Icke has been putting out has been right on. And so that's when he was pulled. That's when they changed the subject, because Jesse Ventura doesn't like David Icke and tried to expose him on his show and things like that. So to understand that there are these evil rulers, and they are, you know what I'm saying, they do have your worst interest in mind, and that there is a hope, there is a glimpse of light at the end of the tunnel, because what's going on is this galactic fight, and those who the beings that created us, they're still watching over us. They've been watching over humanity since the beginning, and so these reptilian type beings are fighting against them. There's videos where you can see these type of UFOs, or these ships, get close to the Earth, and they will shoot a laser beam from the Earth that's trying to keep these UFOs away. So we understand, like are these the bad guys trying to invade? Are they trying to invade and take over and abduct people? No, the bad guys are already here. The bad guys are already running things. So understanding that, when you look into the Bible and you follow this with like a biblical timeline, you understand that the Elohim were our creators. When the Bible uses the word God, capital G-O-D, in the beginning, it's a plural word, Elohim. And whenever you put "im" on something in Hebrew, we have the, you know what I'm saying, the seraphim, the cherubim, the Elohim, the Nephilim, or whatever. This is what makes it plural. It's like adding an S on it, right? So if you would read the beginning of Genesis, it says, in the beginning the gods created, or the Elohim created mankind, right? So these Elohim come down and they create mankind, and then we see them during the Tower of Babylon, and there's this conversation between the Elohim that says, let us go down and create man in our image. These are the Elohim. They're talking to each other, you know what I'm saying, to make man in our image. And then during the Tower of Babylon, it says, let us go down and confuse their speech. Let us go down and do this. So these are these entities talking to each other. And then we see in Genesis 18 and 19 that the us finally came down. We get to see who the us is. They come down, and there's these three angelic beings that actually look like humans, and they come down, and it says it's the Lord God, capital L-O-R-D, comes down with two angels, which are the Elohim. They come down and they talk to Abraham, and they talk, to his wife, and she actually prepares dinner for them. And as the story goes, two of them went on to Sodom and Gomorrah and destroyed that city. And that's where you have all this, like, you know what I'm saying, these crazy explosions and this, like, advanced, like, you know what I'm saying, technology that happened that basically, you know what I'm saying, destroyed this town in the biblical text, if you believe that. So that's what the, you know what I'm saying, the Bible's painting out, this type of story. And then so we see from the beginning this seed that is fighting with the seed of the woman from the beginning. And we see that through, like, the different kings and rulers who come up and who are trying to keep these people in slavery, from Pharaoh to Nebuchadnezzar, all of these guys. And these bloodlines are so closely connected that to this day, there's only 13 bloodlines that have ruled the world to this day, and so their descendants are still ruling the world. These are your presidents. These are, you know what I'm saying, the guys who are in control. They're all related. They're all going to keep the bloodline pure, you know what I'm saying, with their, you know what I'm saying, ancestry. And these are the ones who are, you know what I'm saying, lording over us. But just like all the other holy books talk about, just like the Bible talks about, the Bhagavad Gita, you know what I'm saying, the Quran, all these stuff, they basically talk about this person who's going to come and who's going to overthrow these wicked rulers, that these wicked rulers will pay, that the earth is going to be restored to righteousness once again, that this earth will, you know what I'm saying, move into, you know what I'm saying, the next next, you know what I'm saying, level, and that the Bible says that we will become as the angels when they come, that we will, you know what I'm saying, those who are walking in love and those who have the, you know what I'm saying, greatest good in mind, and those who are, you know what I'm saying, with this, that in the twinkling of an eye, we're going to be made as the angels. We're going to take upon this new body. That's why, you know what I'm saying, on the cover of the Spiritual Alchemy cover, there's a picture of this, you know what I'm saying, this being is basically us being changed to basically be made to look like the angels and to see our true appearance, or whatever the case is. And so this is all that's going to happen, and it's not only in the Bible, it's in every holy book. So this is this type of war that's going on between the good guys and the bad guys, and so, like, it's basically the battle over the souls of men and the hearts and minds of the people. And you know, but there is hope at the end of the tunnel. I believe that we can connect, and that we can, you know what I'm saying, all come together to basically fight against them through, you know what I'm saying, like, basically through, you know what I'm saying, liberation. And so that we, like, you know what I'm saying, like, we won't partake of the GMOs, we won't be scared and live in fear of the, you know what I'm saying, media and stuff like that. And you see that disclosure is coming, like there is disclosure, but it's coming from above. So, like,
oh, that is absolutely true.
So we don't, like, you know what I'm saying, there's, like, a lot of people who are waiting on the government to share the information and tell you the truth about these entities and these aliens, or whatever the case is. Like, you know what I'm saying, that's most likely not going to happen. So what's going to happen is, like, they've been here since the beginning, watching over us, trying to make contact with humans and things like that. So people are having their own experiences. People are having CE5 encounters where they're going out making contact with, you know what I'm saying, the benevolent ETs or whatever, the ones who created us and the ones who've been watching over us since day one. So there's going to be, you know what I'm saying, there's going to come a time in the not so distant future to where, you know what I'm saying, the tables are going to turn. And I think that's one thing that we can hope for, but in the midst of that, to try to kind of, you know what I'm saying, combat them now, just like living our best life now and not being afraid, not moving in fear, and just returning to the true essence that was there since the beginning, you know?
You were talking about the disclosure, and that's absolutely correct, that the disclosure is happening through us. And that was part of the 2-hour documentary that I was watching last night, is people will go out and they will see something, and then they will question themselves and say, oh, I didn't really see that, or oh, I had cheese for dinner, or oh, I drank too much. And the only way that they're going to believe that there is true disclosure by this person, I need to go find that video, is if someone in a suit comes on television and says, yes, I am so sorry, there are aliens, we kept this from you because we thought it would scare you and create chaos. So that's disclosure. So are there aliens? This is one of the questions that someone is asking. Are there aliens, or whatever term you want to use, on this planet, like right now? Because my husband has an alien soul in his body, but are there actually extraterrestrials, if you will, like the Greys and the Mantis beings and all that reside here, or possibly some that live inside the planet or on the surface?
Yeah, I will say this about the whole gray thing. You, you have a lot of people who have had these abduction scenarios happen, to where they say that they were taken aboard a ship and had all these tests done on them, and it's like a very traumatic experience. And a lot of people who have claimed that they've had that experience, they claim to have seen people in military uniform on the craft with them, so that there's these people watching over them, who have you know what I'm saying, letting this happen. So there's a lot of information out there of what is called the MILABs, which is like the military-induced abductions to create fear and hysteria in this field, so that when you see a craft, when you see one coming down low, because they, you know what I'm saying, for them to do that, they have to, like, you know what I'm saying, they're basically taking a chance whenever they show themselves to you.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when you see them, it's a very special thing when you see one, because they're taking a chance of getting shot down. So when you see one, that the government, the military, they want you to be afraid. They don't want you to contact it. They don't want you to blink your headlights at them. They don't want you to use, you know what I'm saying, a flashlight and contact them. So.
We've got one on, and I'm not sure
I've got the mailman out here. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Oh, go for it. I got a story. The question is, and I want to know TruthSeekah's answer, and I'll ask when he gets back from talking to the mailman. What happened to me in one of the last shows is my neighbor started pounding on the door, and so I was like, I tried to mute myself. I'm like, and then she goes jiggle 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 on the handle, and she's trying to get in the house, and because I mean she's one of the neighbors that's like, come on in, you know, it's no big deal. And then I'm like, I was just trying to point, like, I'm on the internet right now, and she was trying to get in. So stuff happens. We're at our houses. You know, this is not like we're in a studio or anything. Things like these happen. Could anyone have an alien soul? Is it rare or common? My answer, and we'll see what TruthSeekah says after this, my answer is I don't know, because I see these things in other people. And all I can give you is from my perspective what percentage I have seen that have things inside of them that look alien or look like they're not supposed to be there and not. And I don't think I have seen more than 5 or 10% of the population that I have seen anything inside of them that looks like an alien soul. The question, TruthSeekah's back now. Could anyone have an alien soul? Is it rare or common? And what I just told them is I can see these beings inside of them, and it's not more, from my experience, and this doesn't mean this is scientific statistics at all, but only maybe 5 to 10% of the people that I look at do I see something inside of them other than just an aura in this energy field. So what do you know about that subject?
There's something with what people call archons, and there's these type of entities, and they're called different things. We're talking about the terminology again. Like, we will call them demons or unclean spirits. You know, other religions will call them the jinn or whatever. So these are the entities that I'm actually able to see. I'm actually to see when they're on somebody, and they basically work as parasites, and they suck energy off of people. So,
okay, wait a minute. So archons, jinn, is it jinn is D-J-I-N-N, is that correct? And then what was the other? And the other term?
You use the term demons and unclean spirits.
Okay.
And so these are all the same things, and so they're called different things. I'm pretty sure they have other you know what I'm saying, other names as well. But like, I can see these leeching on people. I could see them, and it affects the way that people. And this is like the fallen angel stuff too. When people are saying like you're dealing with the fallen angels, these are the same thing. And so these entities basically work as parasites, and they get life and they experience life by leeching off of people, sucking their energy and kind of getting them to do things for them, getting them, you know what I'm saying, them to do biddings, whether it's, and it's usually like negative stuff. It's usually like, you know what I'm saying, killing, overeating, things like that, like gorging yourself on foods and things, and so that they can, like, they have to have a host, they have to have a body for them to feel these pleasures, because it says that in the book of Enoch, it talks about how they once had bodies and that they came down from the fallen angels, or not the fallen angels, but the angels who came down, and they seen women and they took wives for themselves, and they had these children with women. So these angels tried to go back to heaven and play like everything was good. And in the midst of that, God said, no, you wasn't supposed to leave your heavenly habitation. You wasn't supposed to go down there, put your feet on earth, and deal with the women. So those angels who tried to go back, they're cast down into chains of darkness. So a lot of them are like in captivity in different places on the earth. This is what the ancient texts say, that they're in captivity in different places, and they have graves, and they're in volcanoes and like these crazy places in like the depths of the earth. And that's where you get a lot of the information from, like the Epic of Gilgamesh and these type of gods and stuff, that these gods literally were like these beings who governed over parts of the earth. And it goes into information in the book of Enoch, and also the Bible as well. The Bible talks about the divine council of the Elohim. So like these beings like govern parts of the earth, and it wasn't until they began to be worshipped and things like that. So like you know what I'm saying, like you know what I'm saying, Jehovah or Yahweh had to deal with them. So then the children that were born, this is what they call the Nephilim, or the children of the fallen angels, because they mixed the DNA with the with the human DNA and had children. So these were the giants on the earth. These were the men of renown. This is where a lot of the Greek mythology comes from. This is where like the Cyclops and the giants and stuff come from. Like these children, like a lot of women were like they would die when they gave birth, because these things were giants, you know, and that they would take, you know what I'm saying, they were basically destroying the earth. And you also see where it talks about the flood. So the flood came to actually wipe out this, you know what I'm saying, this race of beings that were overpopulating the earth and killing people and fighting. The Clash of the Titans is where these entities were fighting each other and stuff, causing like mass confusion on the earth, or eating people and all this kind of stuff. So God supposedly sends the flood, which is recorded in, you know what I'm saying, all the major holy books, that this flood happened, or this deluge happened, to kill all of these people and these entities. So it was said that it was meant to actually cleanse the earth of these type of monsters or whatever. So supposedly the spirits of these bastard entities or whatever, they couldn't go to heaven and they couldn't stay on earth. So when they died, their spirits were trapped in the ether, like trapped upon this plane of existence, and so that they tempt mankind and they deal with mankind, and so they're able to actually relive life, and they're able to feel all of these pleasures and delicacies that they felt whenever they were alive and they had bodies. When they are dealing with the human body, and when they have a host, then they can feel what it's like to have sex. They can feel what it's like to rape and murder and like I'm saying, pillage and fight and war. And these are like a lot of the spirits that are on a lot of the I'm saying major world, you know, leaders and stuff, and they like still worship many of the fallen angels, and they do these rituals, and they do the like the blood sacrifices and things like that, because these entities, like since the beginning, have required blood. All of the ancient religions, even the Christian religion, they all require blood sacrifice. This is when it gets into some really crazy stuff, because all of them required blood to appease them. So whether it was sacrificing animals to spill the blood of the animal upon the altar of the earth, which appeased them for just a short amount of time, and when different stuff come up, like these gods would destroy parts of the earth and destroy civilizations and destroy they would open up the earth and swallow humans in there. And this is even talking about Yahweh doing this, Yahweh in the Bible, right? And so Yahweh himself was an angry, bloodthirsty God that needed blood to appease his wrath. And that's the whole thing about Christ or whatever. So Christ was the perfect sacrifice, supposedly, and when he died, his blood was spilt. That the Bible says that it pleased God to, you know what I'm saying, to crush him. Like it pleased God to kill him, to be this perfect sacrifice. And so that his blood, being a pure blood and not having any sin, any ill, you know what I'm saying, wicked thing that he did in his whole life, he was the perfect sacrifice. He was the one prophesied since the beginning that would come and fight against, you know what I'm saying, the seed of the serpent. Like, and so it was that this Messiah would come up. So supposedly that was Christ who satisfied the wrath of God through his blood being spilled. But you know, with how beautiful that is, it shows you like the entity that was dealing with was a bloodthirsty maniac, and there was just like duality going on, to where like it says that we're created in that same image. So people would say like it's not good for you to be angry. It's not good for you to lust and to have to be angry and to repent and have remorse. But this is the stuff that Yahweh or whatever had these same feelings as well. Did stuff and regretted it. Like Yahweh, like when all this stuff happened, like he regretted that he created mankind supposedly, and so that's why he sent the flood to basically wipe out all the wickedness on the earth, and then you know Noah and his family supposedly escaped. And some of these entities supposedly made it on the other side of the flood as well. So that's why in the Bible where it talks about David and Goliath, and David fighting Goliath, and Goliath was a giant, and all of his brothers were giants. Like there was this big army of giants that they had to fight. It's recorded in the Bible, like the, you know what I'm saying, the Philistines, and as well as like whenever they went into the Promised Land, they seen these giant people who they said that we look like grasshoppers compared to them. They were these really huge giant people and stuff. So you know, there's records of the giants, you know what I'm saying, being on the earth in the epics of Gilgamesh, and supposedly they found his grave, like the grave of Gilgamesh and things like that. So that's where like these entities come from, and they've been here since the beginning, and that they do war over the souls of men. So that's why like healing and like positive stuff is so important, because like when you're vibrating at a higher frequency, these entities can't leech onto you. It makes it so much harder. But when you're depressed around these times and stuff, and you're depressed and you're on drugs and things like that, like you're like basically given permission without even saying anything. You're given permission for these entities to basically leech onto you and, you know what I'm saying, latch onto you. So that's like the basics of spiritual warfare.
Yeah, and you're talking about drugs. But let's go ahead and clarify, because someone goes, oops, I'm safe because I don't take drugs, but they eat a whole bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
And they put stuff inside of their body that distorts everything. Mm-hmm. So food can also be a drug, bad food, and because it's got a bunch of chemicals in it that give almost the same effect as being drunk.
Yeah, it really does, and that's why it's so important. I mean, there's ancient texts that were biblical texts at one point. Disciples of like Peter and Barnabas. There's a guy named it's a guy named Clement, and it's in a book called the Recognitions of Clement. Really deep book, and it talks about how basically you give legal ground to these entities when you gorge yourself on food, and you keep food in your body, and you're not even hungry.
There you go. You came back. Okay. You froze for a second.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
I want to make sure they hear what you said.
Yeah, it's called the Recognitions of Clement, and it talks about how these entities get legal ground to people, and by overeating and indulging in lots of meat and lots of food, that these entities basically possess people. And you can look it up online. The Recognitions of Clement. It's a text that was, you know what I'm saying, not recognized in the canon. And but it's there, and you can still read it, and it's some really interesting stuff, and a lot of stuff about magic and entities and how they operate in there too.
That is cool. We've got a lot of questions stacking up. Before we start getting those questions going out, I'll just, because you said you can see these entities that are parasitic and they're feeding off of people and they're kind of stuck to them. I'll just tell you what I have seen on people. I've seen something that looks about this big, and it's like a fuzzy, staticky black ball. And you will see them stuck on top of their shoulders or close to the back of their neck. I've also seen on top of their shoulders where it's almost like, well, it changes shapes. It changes shapes. It's like the ball maybe can flatten out. It becomes kind of flat on your shoulder. It can slide down. They're on top of door frames. You can see them. They're in bars. You can see them a lot of places. I've seen those. I've also seen the ones that I had one that I've had to have some help at times when these things happen to me, and it's always when, and it wasn't the drugs for me, but I wasn't eating right, I wasn't exercising, and things like that, and I got kind of depressed, I wasn't sleeping well, and under a great deal of stress, and I had this one, and it looks like, not as much like an octopus, like a space octopus, if that makes any sense at all, and then it has something that goes inside the back of your neck right there, and I've seen those on other people as well, because I had one go inside me. It went all the way down my spine, and it did not want to come out. It was difficult to remove. What do they look like to you when you see them?
I can't always like see a shape. A lot of time it's like a vibration. Like I'll you know what I'm saying, first of all, I'll sense their presence, like, oh, there's something there, something that's not right. And a lot of times it could look like smoke, like we talked about before, like some type of moving shadow or whatever the case is. But on a very physical level, like I said, these things act as parasites, and it's basically what they are. And I believe that the ancients believed that parasites were these demons, that these demons and these entities came in through eating bad food, and there were worms in your body and things like that. So when you really look into, because it's definitely how they operate, right? These microscopic organisms, like these entities, operate exactly like that. They're able to leech onto you and live on your body, and if they don't have a host, then they can't live. And so if you spent any time looking under microscopes to see these little entities, and they look exactly like what you're talking about, like these type of worms, and they look like little bitty cockroaches, but you can see through them and stuff. They look like really grotesque and stuff, and these different, like you said, microscopic organisms that are on people and in people. So then this moves into the area of the way they get out is through fasting. Like you can cleanse your body from these different parasites that are in your stomach and your gut, and then they like people finding stuff behind their eyeballs and stuff like that, and a lot of people having migraines because these parasites are in them.
Oh, don't tell me that! I was having migraines. Oh my gosh, no!
Yeah, I mean the information's there, and what's crazy, and it all links together with this, that it is this, and so that's why like Jesus seen like every ailment as a demon. This is what Jesus did. This is what the ancients did. They seen every ailment, any tumors, cancers, and growth, and all that. That it was some type of entity in the person's body, and he would, you know what I'm saying, they would actually anoint them with oil, different oils that they have made, and it's assumed that through some of the different ingredients that this oil was some type of cannabis oil, because there's a word called calamus oil, which really sounds like, you know what I'm saying, cannabis. And like you do the research on it, a lot of people think that it was the same stuff, and they would anoint people with this oil to heal them. And this is what we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, the gifts and stuff like that were brought to Jesus or whatever. One of the gifts was, you know what I'm saying, frankincense oil. And this is some, you know what I'm saying, some frankincense here, and this stuff heals you. This stuff helps your immune system. It helps your body, and is actually used to rid people of different ailments and stuff, right? That's why there's a big boom in like the natural oils that people are using, and so they put the frankincense in an oil form and they rub it on their bodies, and they're doing the same thing with, you know what I'm saying, the cannabis oil or whatever. And it's like there's crazy testimonies of people being healed by using this oil. So Jesus believed in this stuff. They brought it to him as a child or whatnot. And so, like I said, it all ties together as far as these entities wanting to have a body, right? So we're talking about in the spirit realm how they operate, and also on a very physical level, a very microscopic level, but at the same time still very physical, right? And so we see how there's a tumor that people get. people get these tumors, right? These growths, and they're called a teratoma tumor. Teratoma tumor, and these are these tumors that people get, and they have these growths, and when they get the growths cut off, that these tumors have eyeballs in them, they have teeth, they have noses, they have hair.
What?
And so it's like this little entity trying to form itself off of your body. So it's almost as if these entities they have a host for so long and they want a body, and they're able to feel and things like that through your body, that they eventually want a body for themselves again. So it's almost like they're forming off of your DNA, that they want to have this presence in the earth, and they're trying to form. Look it up. It's called a teratoma tumor, and it's really crazy, the stuff that they're pulling out of these people's bodies. And so when you understand that spiritually these entities want a host, and they want bodies, and they want to feel life, and they want to, it ties everything together. There's so many different aspects that you can go down and do the research or whatever. It's pretty crazy, and it shows you that, like, the early church and the early Christians and the early pagans they had different prayers or whatever that they would say to expel these different parasites in people's bodies. So they would command these parasites to come out through the bone, and to pass through the muscle and through the skin, and banish them out of people's bodies and stuff. And all of that stuff's in crazy. So it's like whenever you're fasting and prayer is like you cleanse your body from these parasites that affect you mentally and spiritually and all this stuff.
Awesome. Let's get some questions out of the way. And I just want to let the audience know, this is kind of to one person, not everybody, but if you ask a question and then you're like, why aren't you answering me? Answer me, and you flood the questions with that, I'm just going to block you, because we're not going to be doing that. There are lots of people that have questions. So if you want your own talk show, go to your own talk show and ask all the questions you want. Have you seen the movie The Fourth Kind? First, have you seen it? The Fourth Kind. I
know what it is, but I haven't watched it. Like I won't watch it just because I'm having angelic encounters, and I understand that they like the media, and what I'm saying, they want you to be scared of these encounters. So I've never watched it.
Well, and they said it's really disturbing. Do you have any idea if the story is actually real? If you haven't seen it, you need to.
It's not real. It's not real.
Okay.
It's not real. The producers came out and said that they kind of did the whole, Blair Witch thing to promote it and to say that all these experiences were happening. They claimed that they had real footage of these crazy exorcisms of where people were basically reliving their alien encounter, and then they would levitate, and these aliens would speak Sumerian text to them and tell them that they were the gods of Sumer, and we created you and stuff. It was fake or whatever, so I don't watch it. I actually watch. Yeah. It's
so if you want entertainment, go watch it. If you want truth, go watch something else.
Yeah, I try to stay away from stuff like that because it just produces fear and hysteria. When I had my first ship encounter, came down over my house that we summoned, it scared me. That I wanted to see it, but then when it came, I was still scared because I had watched all the alien abduction stuff as a kid. I've seen all of the the shows they made for Lifetime had alien shows that they showed, and Fire in the Sky was a big one, and even that, man, he's come out to say that that stuff didn't even happen the way that they said it did, and they made it like a fearful story or whatever the case is, and so no, I haven't watched it. I try not to entertain movies like that. There is, on the other hand, movies that you can watch that are kind of promote positive ET contact, which is the movie Cocoon. I don't know if you remember that movie.
I loved that movie. I loved it.
I got that one. What is the other one of the fourth kind?
Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. I have seen 47 million times.
Yeah, I've got all those.
Or Third Kind. Crap, what is it, Chuck? Close Encounters of the Third Kind, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got all the movies or whatever, but promote positive ET contact, because
I had fourth on the brain.
Because your belief system, it shapes your experience or whatever. If you see something like that and you get scared or whatever, you'll end the experience, and but I guess you got to kind of have the experiences to get over them, to find out that they're not demonic and stuff like that. So what you do have a lot of stuff going on is I'm really big into as far as like shedding the light on the fact that people are having ET contact and they are getting it confused with like demonic attacks, panic attacks, and these different entities coming on you in the middle of the night. So people will see an entity in their room or something on their chest, and they'll say it was an alien abduction or whatever the case is, when it was really some type of parasitic, demon that was on you, and has nothing to do with outer space and heaven and stuff like that. So when people are tying these together, and that's what the Christians do from the Christian perspective, because obviously they're not. They're not spiritual. They're superstitious. So everything's demonic. If you don't understand it, it's demonic. When there's so many different areas and aspects of this as well, to say that everything's demonic, and if anything's out there, it's demonic, and which is not the case. It's totally angelic. And all of my experiences have been positive when it comes to ET contact, and these are the guardian angels, and they are watching over us and have our best interests in mind. So
another question, TruthSeekah. Have you had any abduction experiences yourself?
Well, like I said, like all of my ET encounters have all been positive, but I did when when I was a child, I had the the old hag syndrome, what they call it, which is waking up in the middle of the night, being pinned down to your bed, not being able to move or to breathe, and so like a lot of people have had that happen, and it's basically because they wake up in the middle of the night and their body is still asleep, but their mind is awake, and they open their eyes or whatever the case is, and they can't move. But in this situation, because that is a real life phenomenon that happens to people, but when you see an entity, like when you wake and this entity is laying on your chest or whatever, or standing at the foot of your bed, like that doesn't explain that, or what they call the old hag syndrome. It's just like this old witch lady in your face screaming and stuff. I have had different demonic encounters like that, but those weren't alien encounters though.
And you guys know about the aliens, my husband's peeps that came to visit us. That was really fun. So sometimes when I get really deep into meditation and then come back, I disassociate from myself so hard. Being human feels really weird. Everything feels strange, and I have hyper awareness of myself, like I am viewing myself from the outside. Boy, I felt that after I died and came back. And that does happen to me when I do get deep into meditation as well. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, it does. It's kind of like a lot of people will totally disassociate after that, and that's the scary thing about spiritual experience, and it's the scary thing about psychedelic experience as well, is that people will understand that there's something more to life, and they catch a glimpse of the divine, they catch a glimpse of heaven and all of these beautiful things, and they come back to earth to where they're tied down to a 9-to-5, and they're working for somebody else and stuff, and so they come back to this type of reality that we're on, and they can't function. So you have to be like very careful to balance the two, and turn the the two on and off at will, and to I guess it's a sad thing. Obviously we all want to be in that existence or whatever. We want it to be on at all times, but it's a scary thing. It's a sad thing as well that people come back and they're depressed from it.
I did for 2 years. I was. It was like I'm living in this thing.
Yeah.
It's like out of this, it was like, whee! And then you get back and it's like, oh, crap. And the one thing that did help me that I resisted for a long time, and that's why I had problems, was grounding. I did not. Grounding will help you most definitely with that. And that's just basically going and putting your feet on the grass and doing things like that. We've got a 2-part question. I studied Reiki and got my level 3 master. During this time, I had a visit, which I cannot say was a dream because I woke up with the sound of my voice. I was having a conversation with this entity. What do you think it was? I am constantly looking at the sky. It calls my attention so much, and I feel that someone is always trying to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
seeing a light body outside of my window at nighttime during a dream. Do you think this is some sort of alien around me?
Yeah, you're definitely being contacted. That's like the majority of the time. That's how it, it starts or whatever. And you get to a point to where once you have these experiences, you feel like you're never alone. Like you're always being watched, and you always have someone, I'm saying, there with you. So a lot of times that, I'm saying, that is how it starts or whatever. You do have the constant urge to stargaze, to look into the heavens and feel like, man, I'm saying, I'm from somewhere out there. Like I have my family's out there, and that's where we came from. That's where the cradle of, I'm saying, civilization began. Like through I do that when I go out and gaze into Orion, and I've seen the entities traveling in and out of the Orion Stargate and the constellation and stuff. And so there's a lot of information, I'm saying, out there in ancient texts. It's like that's where, I'm saying, humanity started, and that's where we came from, and that's where entities are traveling in and out of that, I'm saying, that portal to get to what we call heaven, the place of the Elohim and where they dwell and where they travel from. So a lot of the times you just have to go out and start stargazing with that intention, or you go out and sit under the stars and maybe do some chanting or listen to some cool music or whatever. I encourage you to listen to my music and go out there, because that's all I talk about in my music. I'm like real repetitive over and over, talking about my experiences. And so listening to that type of music, listening to these podcasts and stuff like that, it definitely summons them, you know what I'm saying? So it just lets them know that you're studying and you want to know, you want to make contact, and you go out and make a CE5. Don't wait for them to contact you anymore. You go out, make contact with them, and they actually communicate telepathically. You send the stars out there. Cover yourself if you're scared. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just basically put the intention out there that you want to make contact with the entities that have your best interest in mind, and I guarantee you that's what you'll make contact with.
There's a viewer that needs some clarification, because I think they had in their mind something before they started listening to you, and now they just want clarification on this, because we did talk about it. But basically, they're at the point where it's like, okay, so all aliens are not bad. Is that true?
Yeah. All aliens aren't bad, and if you're worried about the bad ones are here running things right now. Like these are the bad guys who are here. So I wouldn't like those who are out there making contact. Like those are the good guys, 100%. And so anything like negative that people are going through, it definitely has to do with like my lab experiences and stuff. And they're not all bad. You know what I'm saying? They're all not like I'm saying demonic entities or something like that. So there's definitely a distinction between demonic entities and what we would call ETs or aliens or whatever. And what I'm saying is that what we call aliens, or what I call aliens or ETs, are the beings spoken about in the Bible, which are called the Elohim, which are also known as the seraphim, the beings of light, the fiery ones that travel back and forth from heaven to earth to bring information, to deal with people. And while they are on earth, they can take upon the appearance of men. And we do entertain angels unawares, as well as the scriptures testify.
And when you say like take the form of man, because you were talking about a Bible story, I can't remember who you were talking about, but they prepared food for them, and they can, the PG version, be with women. So when you say that they take on the form, do they physically create a body? Is this a hologram that you can touch? What are these bodies?
Yeah, they can I mean, there's certain ones, like they can physically manifest a body to come down and look like a person. And but at times they, they don't have to do that. They can come in spirit form as well and commune through meditation or whatever. And I think that's the main way that they that they communicate, is through thought patterns, and a lot of times too they'll actually communicate through like setting up things in your life and setting up things in your reality, where it's like what we call synchronicity, is where like everything just starts lining up, and what the information that comes through, whether you're watching something on television and it's the same meme that keeps happening over and over, that wouldn't mean anything to anybody else but to you, from the stuff you've been reading to the stuff you've been entertaining in your mind, and you hear it come through the television, or you hear it come through the radio or watching a YouTube video or whatever, they actually communicate like that as well. They set up things in your life that you'll go through and you'll experience. So that's why the yogis say that if you can't see God in all, that you can't see God at all. So it's like understanding that your life is written out, and that basically your guardian angels are guiding everything and basically everywhere that you go. And so look for a sign and look for a message in everything, and that's how they communicate. And it becomes a lot more fun. So it's not like always trying to like summon like a being is going to meet you face to face. I think those examples are very rare for like a lot of reasons, but they definitely show up in spirit form. They definitely communicate through the spiritual giftings of telepathy. It's mentioned of in the Bible. Ancient art shows, like ancient Christian art shows these entities communicating through telepathic communication as well. So okay, that's the first part.
Sounds good to me. I've got a couple more questions and we're out of time. Good grief, this flew. I know. You're looking at your clock? It's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure?
Always does.
This one is, I guess, a question to me. Kelli, can you see auras, souls, and entities through the PC? For example, can you see TruthSeekah's aura on the video cam? So while you were answering, I was like looking at you. I cannot see someone's aura like my husband right here. Like I can look at my husband and focus my eyes a certain way, and I can actually see his aura. But for TruthSeekah or a picture, what will normally happen is you'll have a picture and the shadow creates some kind of weird glow that may be gold or green or something behind them, and you think that that's the aura. It's not. This is just kind of a weird shadow thing that has happened. But I did see your aura in my, if you call it mind's eye, third eye, imagination, and you've got a lot of gold that I saw just then. Towards the end, there was a lot of green. Green usually indicates I'm thinking a lot. I'm having to do a lot of thinking. And you have purple. Purple is very energetic and, a go-getter. With the purple, very determined, and I don't say stubborn's a negative term for it, but you are strong. Strong-willed is also a negative term. What am I trying to say? That you've got the conviction. You're gonna stick with this. You're not gonna let people sway you. That's purple. Is what that is. Golden is this connection with source that I see is very, very spiritual, that I see around them. So that's what I see. Do you see auras? Can you
I
see
don't
the
really
pictures?
see them.
Do you sense auras?
Yeah, I sense them. I mean, I'm more in tune with the spiritual gifting of discerning spirits. You're able to discern them. You're able to feel them. You're able to feel the emotions that they put off or the frequency that they put off. So I'm able to feel that. I don't really see them. I don't have the gift of sight, clairvoyance, but I'm able to actually see them and hear them and feel the compassion that people have when they want to be freed from them as well, without them even saying anything. So that's what I'm gifted in. I don't see them, but I feel them.
And I know what you are gifted in, and it is healing. You did like 2 shows ago, you were talking about doing distance healing, and you're like, well, I've never done it by distance before. I've only done it in person. And then you tried it out on me, and it worked in a spectacular way. Have you done anything with that since we talked last?
I have.
Tell us about it. What have you done?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Yeah. No, I've done a couple sessions, and it's like just starting out, because I'm used to having people here. But it works the same way. The technology works the same way with the intention. So yeah, I had someone reach out, and we did a like I started off and basically did a guided meditation, kind of like help the person get into that trance state, and we both got into that state. And we did a consultation to where I was able to read a lot of the stuff that they were dealing with. So she was just telling me some of the things she was going through and dealing with. And as she would speak it, as she would say it, then I would get the intention and the feeling of, okay, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. I mean, that's how the gift works. When people are speaking, you have a feeling or intention, or you're able to feel it in your body. So I wrote everything down. We did the consultation, and I went into meditation about it, about how, you know what I'm saying, how to do it. So we did the session through Skype or whatever. She wanted to do it on, you know what I'm saying, video chat. So we did that. And, you know, I kind of led you know what I'm saying, guided meditation, got into that state and basically dealt with each of the different entities and the different things that she was going through. I dealt with that, and she felt like immense joy and peace and like a presence come upon her. And so, and then I just start blessing the different things that I feel like, you know what I'm saying, basically what we would call prophesying, the different things that I seen coming in the future and kind of telling her what to be aware of and what to look for and stuff. So I had a couple different, you know what I'm saying, sessions since we did the show, and it's awesome. So thanks for like encouraging me in that area. And they, you know what I'm saying, I do have, you know what I'm saying, I am available, TruthSeekah.com. You can click on spiritual services that kind of give like an overview about what I flow in. And I am available for private sessions through, you know what I'm saying, telephone or video chat as well. And I have had the crazy people contact me as well.
Oh,
Which,
hello.
yeah, so that's kind of weird or whatever. And I'll try to.
It's called the public.
Yeah, I try to.
You guys who have worked with the public, you know that there are crazy people out there, but there are good people that make it worth it.
Yeah, and so I'm just a facilitator of the healing, and like I'm in tune, and so it flows through me. You know what I'm saying? I'll just be obedient and just be you know what I'm saying, a vessel for the energy to flow, and to kind of create that experience for you. And it's a very beautiful thing. It totally helps that I'm able to do it online like that, so that because I don't get out much anymore. I don't have a lot of social, you know what I'm saying, social circles that I deal with anymore. So usually with like having the interaction socially, these giftings and abilities, you're able to experiment and you're able to, like, you know what I'm saying, develop them, because basically like a muscle, you're not going to get good at them, you're not going to become confident in them unless you use them. So once you start speaking these things out and walking in them, you're like confident. Okay, so every time I feel this, when I speak on it, something happens. This person is in tears. This person finds healing. So guess what? When I feel that energy, when I feel that pain, I'm going to speak on it. So be able to actually walk in that level of understanding with these giftings and use them just like you would a muscle, just like you would practice playing basketball and practicing a jump shot. You just practice over and over and over. Eventually you get really good at it. And also you get really good at it, and then what happens when you're playing on a basketball team and you're really good? They throw you the ball more. So you get more opportunities to actually flow in this gifting and, you know what I'm saying, walk in it and put it to use. So if you don't use it, you'll lose it, and that's the best part of it. So thanks so much for opening up that door that I'm able to offer these sessions for people and stuff. So thanks so much.
No problem, and thank you for the first time for using a sports analogy, and I actually understood. Every time someone uses a sports analogy, be the ball. I'm like, what? You used an analogy I understood, that if you're good, they're going to throw you the ball more. I get it. Yeah. I'm not a sports person, but I get that. That is awesome. Well, hopefully they will be throwing you the ball a whole lot more. After this, you guys know where to find him, TruthSeekah.com. Go check out all his awesome stuff. Had to get a blanket. It's cold outside. Go check out. And can you show them the T-shirt that you went and got a while ago?
Yes, I'm going to try, because I got this light coming through, and it's a white shirt. So just let me know if you can see it. I got to just make sure you can see it.
Okay, I think as long as you don't get it too close,
okay,
it's probably okay.
Okay, so nobody has seen these shirts yet. Nobody's seen these designs yet. I have not sent this to anybody. So, and I'm not going to until the pre-order comes out. It's going to be a few months. But can you see that? Let's see. You can see that?
Oh, wow. Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give the breakdown.
Okay, so are you showing half of the shirt?
That's a piece of it. I'm gonna explain it.
Okay.
So like, oh my God, it's a skull, whatever. So this right here, with this T-shirt, it basically.
I see DNA.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, sorry.
So me and you, we had the, you know what I'm saying, I kind of explained my first psilocybin mushroom experience, right? So this shirt is basically dealing with that in a sense. It has two different interpretations, and so you guys, after this, you can go online and actually Google what is known as the stoned ape theory. So this is the theory that you know what I'm saying, primordial man was you know what I'm saying, very unadvanced until we were know what I'm saying, visited by these entities or whatever the case is. And then it also talks about how like these monkeys come down out of the trees and was, you know what I'm saying, following the cows, and they was experiencing psilocybin mushroom trips. And it's so that as these monkeys would take these mushrooms, that they would you know what I'm saying, like their consciousness was expanded, and they would experiment with creativity and things like that, and art and stuff. And so that's like starting out as like primordial man having these mushroom experiences, and then basically evolving. And that's kind of what happens with people now if you talk to them about mushroom experiences. So you have the skull, which is actually a monkey skull. So it's a skull because it's talking about death to the primordial man. And you see
I'm looking at that because I call this the monkey, a rainbow fluorite skull.
Okay.
But I don't think it really is a monkey skull. I don't know. This is not human.
All right. So you have the monkey, and then you have the DNA, which is you see the mushroom in the middle, right?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
You have the monkey, then you have the mushroom experience, and so we have the DNA changing as the monkey takes the mushroom, the DNA changing and shifting into what we call the man now, which is Christ consciousness, like moving from that state to where we are now, dealing with Christ consciousness. So
the hairs are standing up on my arms right now. Oh my gosh, I love that shirt.
So you know what I'm saying, you have that explanation for it, but also it's talking about just simply, you know what I'm saying, you being primordial man, and then you having the mushroom experience, or just the spiritual encounter in itself. It doesn't even have to be mushrooms or whatever.
Or an awakening, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you having your awakening, and then you coming into what we call Christ consciousness as well. And you have this. I have the space and the clouds behind Christ as well. So, which is shows Christ illuminated, and it shows the mushroom illuminated. So, you can look up those theories. You can look up, like I said, the stoned ape theory, which is one, and really interesting stuff. I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but I know that spiritual experience and the psilocybin mushroom experience creates this a new paradigm of awareness, and that people are awakened after taking these different medicines with the intent to experience God or experience consciousness or whatever. You have a lot of atheists who have taken these DMT trips and you know what I'm saying, ayahuasca and mushrooms, and when they come back off of their trip, they like believe in God. They believe in that there's a higher power, not necessarily the Christian God, and I believe the Bible, but I believe in this source that is creating all of this stuff, and I'm able to experience it, and I'm able to talk to it and commune with it, and definitely opens up doors. So definitely do your research on that stuff. That shirt will be available with the pre-order, so definitely go to TruthSeekah.com and subscribe on the mailing list, and as soon as we roll them out, it's going to be done in a very limited number of t-shirts, and so we'll just see how it goes. I know I'm going to step on a lot of toes, but also look up the work of John D. Allegro, which he talks about the sacred mushroom in the cross, and it talks about the mushrooms being affiliated with early Christian art, and like the early Christians and the Hebrews partaking of these mushrooms, kind of being a mushroom cult. And there's a lot of info on like the mushroom cults and stuff like that, of how they shifted from one state of consciousness to the next, and they think that a lot of the experiences come from that as well. So it was pretty interesting stuff. And
that's cool. Who's your artist?
I did that. I actually made that. Yeah.
You're kidding me. You are talented. I mean,
I did it with Photoshop. So what it is basically a collage. It's a whole bunch of pictures just like morphed and put together. So I didn't actually draw it freehanded. I put everything together though. So
that is so
all the editing and stuff, and also too with the pre-orders we're having coming on, like everybody's seen the cover, like the picture of me with the face paint and all that, and so that's the official cover, and there's going to be like some other covers released as well, showing like the energy and the deeper layers of consciousness or whatever, like on me. I'm going to have two more.
So this is what it's going to look like.
That's the official cover. Then
I love this one.
But the other ones is going to have like different colors and energy and kind of look like a psychedelic image of myself that I have other artists who are doing, who are you know, saying pretty big names in as far as like dealing with Alex Gray and psychedelic art and stuff like that. So I've got some guys commissioned doing that. So there'll be different, you know, covers with the pre-order too. So it's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited to get these videos out there and put this music out there, because it's like some really beautiful stuff that, like, I'm just like, even in that sense, just being a channel for the music and for the lyrics and for my experience, being a channel to get this stuff out there, that I'll go back and listen to it, and it's giving me chills. I'm like, man, I can't wait to get this music out there.
Yeah, I can tell this comes straight from your heart. This is not about money. Obviously, you need money if you're going to continue and spread this message. Otherwise, it won't get spread. But with you, and this is the reason I like you so much, it's your heart, that you would do this even if you did not make money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not making much money, but I'm able to kind of facilitate everything that's going on and kind of pay for everything, and so the merch and all that type of stuff. It pays for everything. Obviously, I would like to do it full time, and I do see that in my future, and I'm creating that, you know what I'm saying, day by day, that I'm able to, like, expand my fan base and you know what I'm saying, network with other people. And I do have a booking agent now who's actually working on that stuff. So thank you, Kelly, because you're definitely helping me out and inspiring me in, like, everything that I'm doing at this point. It's really cool.
I remember when we met, and it was like you were just getting this together.
I know. You see the progression, man.
I know. That's why I want to keep having you on as this progresses, because you are a success story in the making. You're absolutely successful so far because you have inspired so many people. And this is a good example to those that are in the spiritual realm, that there are so many possibilities that are opened up for you to sustain yourself with giving spiritual information out to people. This is exciting. We had one person comment, I want to thank you both for taking the time to answer these questions. We need people more like you, more human beings that are like you. Thanks again for getting involved at this wonderful time on Earth.
Awesome. That's why we do it, man. Like, it's part of it, you know what I'm saying? So that you know what I'm saying, people are being helped or whatever, and I save all my comments. Like, I have people write me comments, and I save them because they're beautiful, you know what I'm saying, and they mean a lot to me, that I'm actually touching people, and people are being helped and healed through the music and through the podcast and stuff like that. So, but also we need to touch on too, because I believe this coming up Monday night, which is, I don't know the date, you're gonna be on my podcast, right?
That is right. I need to look at my fancy phone. Got a fancy phone.
So with everybody, you know what I'm saying, people like type comments and stuff like that. So guess what? You guys will be able to call in. We're going to open up the phone lines where you guys can call in and speak to Kelly and myself as well. So
I'm scared.
Exactly. So it's going to be awesome.
Okay,
there's a lot of people that are going to be able to
This is going to be 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. That we're going to have this.
Monday night. What's the date on that? Just because I know this is going to be archived.
This 2 days before my birthday is the 8th.
December the 8th, 2014. Be there.
Yeah.
Be where.
So will they be able to find this podcast?
So I will give you the link to do it. And so if they're just like around, I mean, they can go to TruthSeekah.com. It's most likely going to be embedded there. There'll be a chat room open. They'll be able to call in and you know what I'm saying, be a part of the conversation. So you can go to TruthSeekah.com, Truth SEEKAH.com, and I'll have the information there. And definitely if they're you know what I'm saying, going to be following on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, they'll have the links. They can just click on the link. So,
fantastic. Do I have to do hair and makeup, or it's
just going to be phone this time. Like, we could do a video chat, but I'm not able to open up the phone lines.
Just let you guys know I'm going to be in my pajamas.
Oh yeah. So we're going to have fun. Everybody pay attention to that one. So everybody has questions for you and me too. So it's going to be fun.
That's right. Whenever my pajamas goes on, everybody has fun. Mm-hmm. I'm relaxed and I'm happy. So and I didn't show you, but you know, the bottom part are pajamas that I have on. So I love that about YouTube. That you only have to dress from the waist up. It's fabulous. So, TruthSeekah, thank you so much for being on my show and inspiring everybody and just showing everybody your heart and giving people hope and direction. to know that they can go down their own path and it's okay, or they can do something else and it's okay. Thank you for being an inspiration to everybody, and I want to have you on again because I want to see, you're about to release this album and all that, and after you do, I want you to come on and tell everybody how successful it was, because I know it will be.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
Sounds good. All right, so guys.
333. It will be released as soon as I get done. Like, I'm on the cusp of finishing it. So as soon as I finish it, I'm going to roll a pre-order out and start releasing music videos and music. And I cannot wait to get this out there into the consciousness. I think people are begging for it inwardly. Like, I can feel like this is what they need. Like, people need this to go to the next level spiritually, consciously, and kind of put my experiences out there too, because I'm talking about my psilocybin experiences as well. I'm mentioning all this in the music and stuff too. So it's beautiful stuff. So there's a lot of singing on it. It's awesome. It's totally different than what I've been doing. So.
Oh, that's cool, because you got me to love rap. I hate rap, and then I listened to your stuff. It was like, man, this is freaking awesome. So I can't wait for this to come out. Oh, all right, guys. We are so out of time. We're way past time. But thank you guys for all the questions that you asked. And next time we have TruthSeekah on, get your questions ready and your congratulations, because I know this is going to be a huge success for you. So, all right, guys, I guess we will see you on the next video. Bye.
Namaste.